more than 12% of all the websites in the world are made with Elementor. And that's why I'm going to show you everything you need to know in order to create highly professional websites using Elementor. We're going to explore powerful design principles. We'll go through all the important Elementor features. We're going to cover a lot of elements. And when you follow all the steps in this tutorial, you'll be able to create highly professional websites that stand out from others. In the description of this tutorial, I have timestamps. So if you want to go to a specific part in the tutorial, you can click on the timestamp and you go directly to that part of the tutorial. When I go to fast for you, you can go to the settings here at YouTube, go to playback speed and slow down the speed of the tutorial. And if you want to go back a few seconds in the video, just hit the left arrow on your keyboard and you'll go back 5 seconds in the video. In this tutorial, we'll completely focus on Elementor, but making a website with WordPress contains a page builder, which is Elementor in this case, but also a theme. And we don't cover anything about the theme. So if you want to learn how to create the header and footer that I've created in the website that we will use, you can go to ferdy.com and search over here for Elementor. Then you see the WordPress tutorial for beginners. And in this tutorial, you'll see step-by-step how to configure the header. So how to create something like this and the footer. So keep that in mind if you want to learn how to do that. And in order to follow this tutorial, you need to have your own domain and web hosting. Domain is the address of your website, and web hosting is a place on the internet where all your files are stored. If you don't have that yet, you can also follow this tutorial and then you'll see how to get that. Well, without further ado, let's get started with Elementor. So it is time to download the Elementor page builder. We're going to work with the free version. I also have tutorials about the pro version if you want to learn how to make websites with Elementor Pro. You can click over here, but in this tutorial, I will show you what is possible with the free version. And in my opinion, it's a lot. So let me show you how to get the free version of Elementor. To get Elementor, we go to a new tab and search for ferdy.com/Elementor. Hit enter. You'll be redirected to the website of Elementor. They seem to hide the free version of Elementor. So if you cannot find it, just close the step. You can go to the backend, to plugins, add new. And over here, we can search for Elementor. And there it is. More than 10 million installations, a lot of likes. This is, in my opinion, the best and easiest page builder in the world. I click on install now. The free page builder called Elementor in combination with the free theme called Blocksy is, in my opinion, fireworks. It's amazing, a really great combination. It is installed, so I click on activate. And now we see this over here. We don't need to use this. We don't need to create an account. We don't need to go over here through all these steps. So what I will do, I click on the X over here. Then we go to our dashboard. I see a new overview over here. I don't want to see that. So I click on screen options and I uncheck the Elementor overview. Now I go to the website and I can edit the page. And what we will see now is this beautiful button over here. Edit with Elementor. Are you ready? I click on this button. You should do the same. Click, look at this. This is the Elementor page builder. And always there's a notification of the newest thing. They keep on improving this amazing tool. So what I will do, I click on the X. When you open Elementor for the first time, it can be that you're overwhelmed. And that's perfectly fine. Sometimes it's perfectly fine. Get overwhelmed in life, you know. Last week, let's continue with the tutorial. I will show you how to configure it in a way that you can work really efficiently. And then step by step, I'm going to take you by the hand and show you how you can make beautiful websites, content pages with Elementor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Elementor page builder. We're going to spend a lot of time in this area of our website, and I will talk you through all the important things. So here at the left, we have all the elements. So an element can be a heading, it can be an image, it can be a video, and it's really simple. If we want to add that to the website, we just drag it over here, and there it goes. When I have this heading over here, I can change the content, I can change the style, and there are advanced options. If I want to add something else, I can click on the plus. And if I see an image, I can drag it here below or here on top. Let's do it over here. And there you go. And if I click here, I see that the content area looks different. And here add an image. So every element has their own functionalities. And what I see here at the right is the structure. I can turn it off by clicking here. I can turn it on again. So I have the container, and in that container, I have the heading and the image. We're going to talk in depth about this. Right now, I want to leave it with this. What I want to do, step by step, I want to show you what is possible. So the first thing I want to do, I want to show you how you can make it a little bit easier to navigate through your website. Because right now, if I want to duplicate this, I need to do a right mouse click, click on duplicate. And if I hover over here, nothing happens. So maybe I only want to duplicate this area. Well, then I can do right mouse click, duplicate, there it goes. Maybe I want to delete this, then I need to do a right mouse click, delete, but I want it to be easier. So what I can do, I can go to the Elementor logo over here, click on it. I go to user preferences, and now I can turn on the quick edit options. If I turn it on, now, if I want to duplicate this area, I just click over here. And there you go. If I want to get rid of it, I click over here. If I want to duplicate this, I hover over here. There's the option. If I want to remove it, I click over here. So that makes it a little bit easier, especially when you're going to spend a few hours creating your website. It will save you a lot of time in the long run, and it will make it nicer to work over here. So that's the first thing. The second thing, right now, this is dark and this is light. If you want to, you can change this to a dark look and feel. I prefer that one, especially when you're working a longer time in the page builder. I prefer to have a dark interface. So I click over here. I go back to the user preferences and I say the display mode should be dark mode. Yes, I prefer this. So I click on publish. And now I can click on the plus and then I will see all the widgets again. There's a message over here. We can add things to our favorite widgets. So if you use a sort of widget, a lot of times you can add it to your favorites. I just click on got it and that gives us some more space over here. If you want to, you can click over here and then you see your complete website. So you see what you're building at once. You don't have to do things over here, few things over here, then save it and check the website. What you are building is immediately visible over here. We have configured a few things within Elementor. Now let me show you how you can work with the Elementor interface. If I click over here, I can go to the page settings of this specific page. This is the home page. I can click over here. I can say this page should have a certain layout. So if I scroll down, the page layout should not be default, but I prefer Elementor full width. If I do that, then everything from the Blocksy theme, everything from WordPress will be gone. And the whole area you see over here from this point on until this point is made with Elementor. And that's what I prefer. The only thing is we did this for the homepage, not for all the other pages. So we can also go over here to the site settings and then to layout. And now we can decide to do this for all pages we create using Elementor. So we don't have to do it every time manually. So over here, default page layout, change from theme to Elementor full width. I save the changes so that it will also save us time in the long run. Since we're here at the site settings, I want to talk about a few things. Remember that we changed the site width from the Blocksy theme to 1120. I want to do the same over here. If I will make this 1340, what you will see, if you make it smaller, is that the width of Elementor is wider than the theme. So I want to give them the same width. So I say 1120, the same as the theme. I love to work really efficiently. When I make a lot of websites, even though you're maybe only are going to create one, I want you to work as efficient as possible. So in order to do that with Elementor, we need to talk about padding and margin. In order to save a lot of time, we're going to set up at once. And I have a few special settings for that, so it will be optimized for all devices. So it will save us a lot of time in the long run. So let me show you how to configure the margin and the padding in Elementor. Over here, the content padding is really important. If I would say 0, you see there is no space at all. No space here and no space here. Also not at the left, also not at the right. Well, that's not what I want. If I would keep it like this and I would go to the tablet view, there's also no space over here. That is just ugly. It's really ugly when there's no space on the sides of your website. And also with the phone, everything is still 0 because I set for the desktop that it should be 0. So we need to configure this. And the great thing is we only need to configure it once and then it will save us so much time. So right now we're setting up a few things that will make our life a little bit easier. So what I will do for the desktop, I will uncheck this, and left and right, I want it to be 0, but top and bottom, I always want it to be 60. And you see, there's a nice space over here. Here, there's no space yet because we need to adjust everything individually. So the bottom 60 gives us some space over here. At the left and at the right, I want to have everything the same. If I would say left 60, then you see it's not in line with the width of our theme anymore. So I want to keep that to 0, but I also want to adjust it for the tablet. So I click over here on the tablet version because we want to optimize our website for all devices. And here there's nothing yet. This is turned on. So all the values are linked together. So if I fill in something over here, it will be there everywhere. So I would like to say 40. And what you see when we say 40, it aligns again beautifully with our theme. Then we go to the smartphone. And now it's a little bit too much. It's also 40 because it's getting the numbers from the tablet. And if I don't change anything, automatically it'll change. If I don't change it over here, it will automatically grab the information which I decided to give over here on the tablet. So right now it says 40. I want to change it to 30. And now you see it aligns again. If I think it doesn't align perfectly, I can decrease it. So how about 26? That's how old I am. No, that's kidding. That's 12 years ago. So now we set it up and then we go back to the desktop. And one more thing over here, there's a gap of 20 pixels by default. I think it's too narrow. So if I want to increase the gap, I can do that over here. The gaps, if I would say 40, there's more space over here. That is what I prefer. So since we have set up those settings at the side settings, we can save a lot of time in the long run. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for myself that I found out about this amazing page builder. So now if I would duplicate this, there is a lot of space in between and also over here. Awesome. So if I get rid of this, I get rid of this. So there's only an image in this container. If I would duplicate this container, you'll see 60 pixels over here and 60 pixels over here. If I would change the background, you don't have to do this. I go to the container, to style. I go to the background type, classic, color. And I say this one should be dark. You see nice 60 pixels over here and 60 pixels over here. Really, really nice. I don't like it when websites have everything close to each other. Let me give you a quick example. You don't have to follow along with this, but if I would go for a text editor, and I fill this with text. And I think, you know what? I go to advanced background. I give this a white background. I don't like it when the text is so close to the edge. It's so much better when you have some space. So that's why I prefer to work with those gaps. So we can get rid of this. I click on publish. By the way, if we publish things and we click on the eye next to it, we can see the result we have so far. So right now we see nothing. If I would enter a heading over here, I click on publish. I don't even have to refresh this. Automatically, this will be renewed. If I duplicate it, I publish it. I don't have to renew anything. And now there are 2. So really nice to work in that way. We don't have to refresh the website all the time. When I go here, I already see the result of the things I've changed over here. So those were some basic settings for Elementor. Now I want to talk about the fonts and the colors in Elementor. And the great thing is that with Elementor and Blocksy, the colors that you use in the Blocksy theme can also be used in Elementor. So everything will be streamlined, everything will work perfectly together. So let me show you how to set it up. We want to use the fonts and the colors of the Blocksy theme and not from Elementor. So in order to configure it the right way, we click over here and I can go to global colors and I see 4 colors. We also see a style guide with the colors and the fonts from Elementor. Well, I want to turn it off. I don't want to use this. I see those colors over here and I don't want to use those colors. So what you can do if you really want to make sure you never use those colors, you can make them pink. Also over here. The 3rd one and the 4th one. Save the changes. So when you see something really pink on your website, you know, hey, we're still using the colors of Elementor. The only thing I don't like about this, when I close this and I click over here, I want to change the color. I first see those pink colors. I don't want that, but I do want to make use of those colors. So what I can do, I have an extension over here. It's called the Color Pick Eyedropper, a Google Chrome extension. I grab this color, copy it. So when I go to the settings, I go to global colors and I paste this over here. It will have the same color as the background. And if I save this and I close this and I go to the website and I want to change the color, I don't see those colors. So they're not really visible. So I know I need to scroll down and then I can choose one of those colors, which I prefer. We talked about global colors. Now let's talk about global fonts. I go back. Then I want to go to typography, and there we also need to talk about colors. So the text color, which one do I want to use? Again, I want to go with one of the colors of my theme, and that is color 3. Okay, then the color of a link, I want to leave it as it is. For the headings, I want to give it a color, like the color 2. So I go to color 2, H4 color 2, and H6, all of them. I have to do this only once. Okay. Save the changes. Right now, these colors turn black. We'll talk about it later. I go back, then I want to go to the global fonts. And I don't want to use those fonts. I want to use the fonts from the theme. But just in case, over here, I want to make use of open sans everywhere. So I copy this, select it, the third one, and as you see, now the colors are going back to the right colors. It's a weird glitch. I don't know why, but after making a lot of websites, you figure things out somehow, and I don't understand it, but it's working. I want to do the same at typography, but then I want to make use of the font we used earlier, which is Poppins, not poop, Poppins. So I copy this, click over here, paste, click, paste, click. Again, I only have to do this once. I think I forgot one. Let's check that. H3, H4, yes. And then H6. I save the changes. And now when I close this, look at this. Now you see the official colors. So right now, by default, there is this dark color. If I click over here and I make it the color orange, right now is this color, the official one. If I click on publish, now we use this color. So I'm really happy that everything is working. So sometimes you see that the theme is interfering with the page builder, with the settings, with the colors, but there are always ways to fix this. So I'm happy. I will close this. What I said before, if I want to see the results, I can click on preview changes and it updates automatically. One other thing, if I want to go to the backend, I can click over here, exit to WordPress, then I go to the homepage, and then I need to click over here, and then I go to the pages, and then I click over here, and then I finally go to the dashboard. Well, oftentimes when I'm in Elementor, so let me go back, I don't want to go over here when I exit Elementor. I want to go to the dashboard. So what I can do, I can click on Edit with Elementor. I go to the Elementor logo, User Preferences. If I scroll down, exit to, not to this post, not to all posts, but to the WP dashboard. I click on Publish. So it will help me to skip some steps. I click here, I click on Exit to WordPress, and at once I go to the dashboard. So we have set everything up really beautifully. If I click on Edit with Elementor, it's time to talk about how to create content using the Elementor page builder. Elementor works with containers and with elements. And I will show you right now how you can combine those two. If you learn how to work with those two, you can do a lot of things in Elementor. So let me show you how you can do that. I see this nice icon over here. What is new? Right now it's Black Friday. I close it. So if there's something new, you can see it over here. Here at the left, we have the layout. We can have a container or a grid, and then we can have a lot of elements, basic elements. There are pro elements. You need Elementor Pro for that. So we will collapse that. We don't need that. And then there are more elements. We can drag them over here in a container. What is a container? A container can contain elements. So when we create websites using Elementor, we have two things. We have containers, and in those containers, we have elements. So how can you create a container? There are three ways. I can click on the plus. I want to go for a flex box and I can create a container like this. So this container has 4 containers in it, like that. Then I can click on the plus and there are elements and I can drag them in the containers. I can click on the plus. I can go for an image. I can click on the plus. I can go for a text area. I can click on the plus and I can also search for things. So if I search for Google Maps, I search for maps. I can drag it over here. So that's it. You have containers and in those containers, you have elements. You can have multiple elements in one container. So if I want to have an image below the heading or above, I can just release it and there it is. And when you learn to combine containers with elements and you know how to style them, you can create beautiful websites. So let me close this. The second way, this was the first way. The second way is to drag a container over here. Then you have one. And the third one is to drag an element in a new area and then it will create a container around it. So if I would go to the structure, you see there's a container and in that container there is a heading. This can be handy if I want to select things. So I click on the container. Now the container is selected. You see that purple or the pink area around it. If I click on the heading, then you see the pink area around the heading. So I can see what's selected and based on what is selected, I can see information over here at content or layout when I select a container. And there's the second tab, styling, the third tab, advanced. Let's talk about that. So I can close it by hovering over here, closing it. Let me click on the plus. I want to go for a flexbox container with all the elements below each other. If I want them to be next to each other, I can click over here. I go for below each other. So I click on the plus and I can add a heading by dragging it over here. Then I can click on the plus. Maybe I want to add a button, so I can scroll down and I see a button over here. I can drag it on top or below. I can click on the plus and I can go for something else, an icon. And that icon can be placed above the heading, below the heading, and below the button. So I can drag it wherever I want. Sometimes it looks a little bit weird, like this. But hey, isn't that what makes making websites fun? Well, whatever may be the reason for this to do so weird, I don't care. I just drag it in between. So what we can do, if I click on the heading, I see content. Here at the content, I can change the heading. This is a heading. I can change the HTML tag. I can link it somewhere. But if I would go to the icon by clicking here, I am still at the content, but this time I see different information. So based on the element, there's different information at the content tab. If I go to the button, there's different information. So here I could say subscribe. And if you want to subscribe, hey, feel free to do that. If you like this video, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more upcoming WordPress related tutorials. So that's the content tab. Every single element has one and they're all different. Then there's the style tab. So this is the styling tab of the button. And it looks different than when I go to the styling area of the heading. So I can bring it to the center over here. I can change the color. So I can make it orange, for instance. I can change the typography, make it bigger, make it smaller. I can make it uppercase. So at the styling tab, it has everything to do, of course, with the styling. But if I go to the styling tab of the icon, it looks different than the heading. And that will help you to style everything exactly as you want it to be. So I can change the icon size. I can even rotate it. If I don't like it, I just remove it and it's back to normal. I can change the color. So I can make it purplish. I can go to the button, to the styling, and then it looks different. So I can have a background color that is orange, or I can think, hey, I want to have a different background type. What about gradient? So I can start with orange, or let's say dark purple, and I can change to light purple. You see that gradient over there. I can change the location of the gradient. I can change the angle of the gradient. There's so much you can do. And when you hover over it, nothing happens. But if I click on the hover area, I can change the background type to gradient again. And I can change the color to orange. And it would look like that. I can also have different color over here. So there's another gradient. So that's how you can work. You can take it a little bit further. If you want to, you can click over here. There's a white background in the container, but you can go to advanced. Then I can go to background, change the color to, let's do color 4. Then I can go back to the style because the color is the same of the icon. So I change that to white, but now it's against the edge. I don't like that. So I can increase the padding here at advanced. 40. Okay. Now I can click over here. If I want to, I can go to the style, to the typography. I can decide that it should be all uppercase and a bigger font like that. Okay, that's too big. Then I can go to the style of the button and decide that it should be stretched. And then I can go to advanced, uncheck margin, and at the top I can decrease this so it will be closer to the other area. Now I can go, let me see, change this from a gradient to a classic color, the orange one. When people hover over it, it should become a little bit darker. It's not nice looking. So how about that? Okay. I can also do the same over here. If I want to, margin, bottom, decrease, and bring it closer to each other. So I can change the look and feel of the container. So I can give this a different background color. Then I have 3 different elements, a heading, an icon, and a button, and I can adjust them all to a way that will look like this. Well, let me close it. If I want to save it, I click on Command S or Control S, and it will be saved. If I want to know more about shortcuts, I can click over here, and there are a lot of shortcuts depending on what kind of computer you use. If you use a Mac or a PC, so I see Command because I'm on a Mac. So you can undo things, redo things, copy, paste. So this can help you to be faster. So over here I see the structure. So let me say Command Z. So everything's back. And now if I say Command I can see the container. If I open this, I see this container contains a heading, an icon, and a button. And I could call this, double click, a hero. And that way I can navigate through the structure. I can also drag the structure to the right. If you have a really big computer screen, I suggest you do that because this can help you to navigate through your page, especially when your website is becoming bigger. I made the screen a bit bigger so the tutorial will be viewable. I made everything a little bit bigger, so I prefer not to use the structure at the side. If I would do it like this, then I would definitely do it. If I would be at 100%. But I'm zoomed in a little bit for the sake of the tutorial so you can see it better. So I will drag it like this. And if I don't want to use it, I say Command I and it's gone. I can bring it back, Command I. I can also say Command P. Then I see the results, how it will look. Bring it back, Command I, Command P, Command I, Command P. And that way I can be I would call this a desktop DJ, a visual desktop DJ. You can also click over here and become a tablet DJ. It's up to you. It's your party. Life is your party. I wonder if I'm going to say anything better in this tutorial, that life is your party and you need to dance to the rhythm. Okay, let's stick with WordPress related stuff. I don't like the style, but I just wanted to show you what is possible when you start combining containers with elements and use the content, style, and advanced area. We're going to talk more about everything that's possible, but these were some basics. If I would publish it, I take a look, it looks like this. Then I can close this and then I can say Command S. And now it is gone because automatically it will be published and it will be saved and this will be refreshed. So in that way, using shortcuts, you can work faster. So this was the first part of the basics of Elementor. Before we talked about the settings of Elementor, now we talked about the basics of the elements and the containers. Now we're going to talk about positioning things within Elementor. When everything comes together, you can create super duper cool websites using Elementor. So now you know what containers and elements are. Right now I want to show you how you can work with positioning. So you have containers. In those containers you can have elements, you can style those, we talked about that, but how can you position them? That's the last thing, the third thing, containers, elements, positioning. When you know how those three works in combination with each other, then you will grasp the power of Elementor and you are ready to create content for your website. Every time I talk about this, I get emotional. So let's talk about positioning in Elementor. In order to talk about positioning within Elementor, let's create a new page to practice. So I say Command or Control E. Then I can click or type in Add. And I can create a new page by clicking Add New Page in Elementor. Then I click over here on the page settings and I rename this to Practice. Then I click on Publish. And if I preview the changes, you see my domain and then Practice. Very nice. So let's talk about positioning. I want to start with clicking on the plus, create a flexbox container from left to right. So I click over here, then I can click on the plus over here. I search for image and I drag it here. Great. It automatically stretches over the whole width. So now here at content, I can choose an image, upload files, select files, and now I need to go to the practice folder, Ferdy.com resources. Then I go to web define, practice, and I select image 1, hold shift and click on 04. I open them. There they go. And I select the first image. Awesome. Then over here, I can duplicate it, or I click on it and say Command or Control D for duplicate. Then I go to the second one. I select the second image. I go to the third one. I select the third image and I go to the fourth one and I select the fourth image. And in order to make things more clear, I go to the container. I go to the style and I give this another background than the other containers. So I click on classic and I go for color 4. Command S. So I publish it or I save it. So what can we do with positioning? If I select the container, let's say Command I, structure, let me call this the hero again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I select the hero, so I select the container and I'm here at style. I go to layout. The first step, it's a flexbox. You can also change it to a grid. We can change the content width. Right now it's boxed. That means that it is within the boundary of the layout we set. Site settings, layout, we set it to be 1120 pixels. So when we say boxed, it stays within the 1120. I can increase it. And what happens is, if I make it smaller, that it becomes a wider area. But I want to align it to the width of the website. So I remove this. Bam. If I would say full width, then it will totally be from the left to the right. So if I have a really big screen, it will look like this. Well, I prefer not to do that. It will be totally from the left to the right. Doesn't matter how big your screen is. Well, I don't like it. So I say boxed and just the normal width. There's one reason for me to decrease the width. If I create a new container, everything below each other, I click on the plus and I drag the text editor over here. And now I have a large text like that. In this case, I would go to the container, to the boxed layout, and I decrease it to 600 because reading a text totally from the left to the right is not really nice. I prefer to make it a smaller text. So that's the only reason when I decrease it. But when I'm working on a full width area, I like to use boxed. Don't change the width. I can change the height and then you'll see what will happen. Right now, automatically the height will change, but I can also change it manually by increasing this area. Everything will stay the same, but for the sake of the tutorial, just to show you what is possible, I put this to 500 right now. Click on publish. So that's what we can do over here at the container. It is a flexbox container boxed with the same width as the website. So it starts exactly at the same point as the logo. And we manually increased the height, even though there's no information over here. So now we go to a really interesting area. We go to the items. First, there is the direction. There is more than one direction. That's what I want to say about that. You can go horizontally to the right. You can go from top to bottom. And if you do that, everything is below each other, all the elements within the container. You can even bring it back reversed. I never use this, but I think it is for websites from countries where the text is from right to left. Then you can use those two. I never use those. So I only work with row horizontal or vertical. Okay, and if you take a closer look, let me help you with that. If you click on horizontal, you see an animation over here. And if you click on the vertical, it also changes. So based on these settings, those settings will change. Let's go for row horizontal. And by default, the first option is selected. So you don't see it, but if I would click on it, nothing will change. So what we can do over here with justify content right now, it starts here at the left and it goes to the right. We said that the gaps should be 40 in pixels. That's what we decided over here at site settings, layout. And then we see the gaps are 40. If I will make them 20, you'll see there is less space in between all these elements. So I like 40. And then by default, that's also the case with all containers. So if you want to change that, you can do that manually per container. So over here, I could say, let's make it 20 or 0. So that's up to you. I leave it 40, but that's what makes those that space in between. Okay, let's go back over here. So horizontally from left to right or from right to left, whatever you want. Let's go from left to right. I can justify it at the start. I can bring it to the center. And now you see it goes to the center. And if I would remove something over here, it stays in the center. So that can be really interesting. What is also interesting, if I duplicate it, it also stays in the center. And if I duplicate it again, everything becomes smaller. So we stick to the width of 1120. We also stick to the gap of 40. So what changes is when I duplicate things is that the elements become smaller in order for it to fit. Besides elements, you can also add containers. And now it becomes interesting. Sometimes it can be hard to place it in between. So let me try it again. Yes, there you go. And now in that container, in between the elements, I can add more elements. So now I can say I want to add an image. I can, for instance, choose image 1. Then I can duplicate it. And now it goes below each other. So this gives you so much freedom. We're going to talk about it later, but I just want to show you that you can add containers in between the elements. Let me bring it back. Okay, so now it doesn't fit and it becomes smaller. So I click over here again. I can say Command I to bring the structure back. Let's go back to this area. I can also justify it to the right like that. And then there's the fourth option. Those options are the one I use. There are two others, but I don't use those. There's space in between. That's really interesting. That means that the first element starts totally at the left, at the width of the website of the 1120 pixels. And the last element totally ends at the other side of the 1120 pixels. So if I would add one, this one's still at the beginning and this one is still at the end. If I add another one again, it looks like that. If I remove one, look at this. This one will be in the center. So the gap is now relative, and depending on the amount of elements, this will be placed somewhere, but always somewhere. But the first one will always start over here. The second one always over here. So if I would remove this one, it will stay the same. So let me duplicate it and bring back number 3. So I go back to the container. There's that. Then there's the fourth option. Look at this. Space around. So over here, space between. All those spaces are the same. Here, here, and here. If I click on space around, that means for every element, the amount of space right is the same space that there is at the left side. So here you see 2 spaces, one at the right and here one at the left. And that's why there is a little bit of space over here. Let me show you how it works. It works like this. For every element, there's space left and right from that element. And then there's the fourth option, spaced evenly. That means that this gap is the same in width as this one and as this one, as this one. Let me illustrate it again. So that's how it works. Well, as I said, I don't use those. If I turn them off, automatically the first one will be activated. So that is how you can work. And when you bring it to the vertical area, it also works like that. I can bring it to the center. Well, right now I don't see that because the minimum height It's not that high, but if I would increase this, so let's scroll down, let's increase it so you will see more space over here. Okay, now it becomes interesting. Here nothing happens, but if I say center, now it is vertically centered. So this amount of space is the same as this over here, and everything over here, that is 40. Then we can bring it to the end. And also here we can have space in between. So it starts here. What is this area? Remember, that is what we set here at the layout. That is 60 pixels of padding. That's exactly what we also see over here, 60 pixels. If I would say 0, it is gone. Let me illustrate it even better. If I would say 0 at the top, there's no space between the border of this image and the header. So those are all those settings. But when we use this option, it overrides the amount of pixels, the 40 pixels. So again, hero, scroll down, and we set space between. And then we have this one and this one, which I don't use, but you can use them if you want to. So again, we can go horizontal, we can vertical. So then there's align items. So right now, when we use the horizontal version, we can bring it to the center. Let's do that. But what we also can do, we can bring it to the top. By default, it is stretched. If I hover over here, you see this long area over here. This pink area also here, and here. But if I click on start, then you don't see it anymore. Then it's really at the top. I can explain in a minute what that means. I can bring it to the center vertically. As you see, as much space here as over here. So if I would decrease this again, it looks better. And I can bring it to the end. And I can make it stretch. And by default, it is stretch. What does it mean? Let me show you real quick. You don't have to follow along with this. I go for the flex box, 3 areas. I go for a container. In that container, I want to have a heading. And I want to have a text. I want to give this a background. Let's go for this one, or maybe a bit. Yeah, okay, that's nice. Okay, now I want to duplicate it a few times. Okay, everywhere the text is the same, but if I would start copying this text, what happens with this background is this. It goes along. So it goes with the longest container in that row. That is because over here at the settings of this container at layout here below, can you still follow me? By default, the align items is set to stretch. If I would set this to start, what do you think that happens? Look at this. Bam! Now, this is on its own. So that's what I can do. I can bring it to the center. So the more I start typing, it will stay in the center. I can even bring it to the end. And if I would say stretch, everything will be on top and the background will be aligned to the longest background. So that's how I can display this. And by default, that's the case. That's why we see this area around it right now. Okay. Let's go back over here. We can do more because right now we're talking about aligning items. We can also do that vertically. So I can say, you know what, they're in the center, but I want to bring them to the left. I want to bring them to the center, or I want to bring them to the right, or I want to stretch it. And then if you stretch it, you see this wide area around it. If you would say center, then you don't see it. You see no visible change, but as I just showed in this example, that's where the difference is. So I uncheck it so it looks like this. But there is one more thing we can do. Because maybe I want this to be in the center, but if I go to the second one, I can go to advanced of the single element. And I can say, you know what, align self. This one, I want it to be at the left. And then I go to the fourth one, advanced, align self, and I want it to be at the end. So we can, oh man, now we can do so much more. Because right now I can click over here. Here at advanced, I can uncheck the margin. And at the top, I can decrease this. Now I can start to bring this up. So I can make this pixel perfect. And of course, right now, you can be thinking, Ferdy, we're working with images with 1, 2, 3, and 4 on it. This is not what I have in mind when creating a website, but I just want to explain it as easy as possible so you can learn how it works. So I can also click over here, margin, uncheck, bottom, bring everything else closer. So this is relative. That means that if I change something over here, everything below will go with it. We can also do another one. If I click over here, advanced, close the layout, I can go to transform, I can go to offset, and then I can do something without affecting anything else. Well, we're going to talk more about that, but this gives you the freedom to create anything you have in mind. And that's what I like about Elementor, the freedom you have. And if you ask me, is really intuitive. Of course, it can be overwhelming when you see this for the first time, but I do my best to show you how everything works as good as possible. One more thing, we go to the hero and I bring it back to this. And now I can click over here. Advanced align self at the top. That's okay. The second one, I can bring it to the center. The third one, I can bring it here below. And the fourth one, I can bring it to the top again. So that's how you can play around with this. And right now, as I said, we're working with numbers just to give you the basics. But since we talked about this, we already talked about the elements, what you can do with it, with styling. And we talked about positioning. So let me close this. I think it's time to get started with creating our amazing website using Elementor. And as you see, we're at the practice page. If I want to go to the home page, I click over here. You see the recent pages. I click on home, save this. Now I'm back at the home page. So let's get started. What I see is that the background of Elementor is not exactly the same as the background of the Blocksy theme. I want everything to be completely white. So let me show you how you can do that. I see that this color is a little bit different than this color. So let me go to the customizer. Then I go to colors, scroll down all the way to color, and I go for color 8. And now it is white. There is so much you can do with the background of a section. You can have a video in the background. You can have a video with an overlay, a color. You can have a video with an overlay of another image. There's so much possible. You can optimize things, have different backgrounds for different devices. Let's start by using a color as a background in Elementor. So I click on the plus to create a new container. I want to go for a flex box and everything below each other. So this looks normal. No other background, it's just transparent. So if I want to change the background, there are so many things we can do. If I go to style, background, the background type, it can be a classic one. That means it can be a certain color. So let's say this one, and it looks like this. If I would go back to layout, I can increase the minimum height just to show you a little bit better what is possible. So I could do the height in pixels. I could also decide to go for a viewport height. That means the height of the screen. So if I would say viewport height 100, then it is 100% of the height of the screen. Well, it's not calculating this part with it. So you could say 80 or decrease it until you see it's almost full height. I prefer to use pixels. And then I would say, right now, let's go for 500. There you go. So publish. You can have a simple color as a background, but wait, there is more. You can also have an image as a background in Elementor. Let me show you how you can do that. You can go to style and then at the background type classic, you can also have an image. So I choose an image. I don't want to go for one of these. So I click on upload files, select files, and then I can go to the desktop, to the Ferdy.com resources folder. I go to web define business and I use iStock photos. So if you would go to ferdy.com/iStock, hit enter and you search for, sorry, the website is in Dutch, but if you search for business meeting, look at this. I think I got this image or one that looks like this one. And then if you see one that you like, this one, for instance, what you can do then is you can buy this, or you can take a look at similar photos. So you don't get a lot of different kind of photos if you make a company website or website about your company and you want to use stock photos like these. So make sure that the style is a little bit the same. That is what I have done. So I got here at desktop, resources, web design, business. I've got these photos. They all look similar in the style. And then really important, what I've done, I renamed them. So if I have a web design agency in Amsterdam, I focus on Amsterdam web design. So I rename them. So when people search for web design Holland, let's do that. Web design Holland, since I made this kind of tutorial last year. If I go to images, and sometimes those images also will be shown there. It could be that my image will appear over here. And based on that, people can also find my website. So I always rename them. You can also go to Pixabay. Here you can download royalty-free images. So if I would say business meeting, you see that the quality from here on is a little bit less. But there are also some decent photos over here. But as you see, I would go for the iStock photos. But if you want to follow along in the tutorial, you can download images I use in my tutorial. Except for that, I have created some free images for you. So if you go to resources, web design, business, you'll see a few other pictures. I will have these. I click on open. And there they go. I see there two same images, unnecessary. So I remove one. Okay. And remember, I click on one, I remove the dashes, copy it, paste in the alt text and paste in the description. I do that with all the images. Remove the dashes, copy, paste, paste. So let me fast forward. I go with this one, select, there it appears, and you see it appears on top of this color. So this color will not be seen as a background anymore. So we have an image. There are a few things we can do. Here at position, I can say it should be focused on the center or another area. Right now, if I scroll down, this image stays there. The background, if I change the attachment to fixed, look at this. How cool is this? I really like that. Well, I think the image is really big. So what I can do at the display size, I can change it to cover. That's what I prefer. So you see a little bit more of the image. That's what I like. So you can have an image. I publish it. Looks like that. But if I would have a text over here, a heading, and I say, we make websites. So let me go over here to layout and bring the content to the center. To the center. Right now you don't see that. So I can make this text white by clicking here, style, text color. I make it white using color 8. Okay. When you have an image or a video in the background, it can be that the text, the content is less visible. In order to fix that, we can make use of a background overlay. Let me show you how you can work with a background overlay. Now we can see the text, but if the text would be at the left on top, I don't see it anymore. But we do want to see the text. Well, I still can see it, but it can be that this background is not helping in showing the text. So in that case, what I can do, I can go to the container, to style. There's a background, but there's also a background overlay. So now I can add a color over here. So again, if I would choose color 4, like that, it looks like that. So now it doesn't matter where the text appears or if it's light or dark. Now you can see it better. Well, if it's dark, okay, it's harder. So it's not entirely true. But what else can we do with this? So let me bring this to the center again by going to the container layout, center. If I click over here, I go to the style, there's the background. Now I can go to the overlay. This is one color. So I can change the opacity. If I say 1, it's entirely the color. If I say 0, it's entirely the image. So I can play around with that. What I could do, I could also change the background type to a gradient. So the first color can be color 4. The second color can be color 1. Look at this. I can change the location. If I bring this closer to each other, it becomes a line. Then I can change the angle of the line. I can also change where it is displayed. So I can bring the location to the right. Also over here. Like that. I can make it a radial. But then if I bring this to 100 and this to 0, there's a nice overlay again. You can do the same thing with linear. So the closer you bring it to each other, the sharper the edge will be. So you can do a few nice things with that. You can change the opacity again. Like that. What we've done, we used an image, and on top of that we used an overlay. We used a color or a gradient. We can also turn it around. We can use the colors or the gradient as a background and then the image as an overlay. Let's see what kind of results you can get with that. If I would bring this all back, so get rid of this color, get rid of this one, bring this to 0, and I close this, so it will be the default value. What I also can do, I can do it the other way around. I remove the image over here. Here I decide to go with a gradient. So the first color is color 4. The second one is color 1. Let's change the angle to 90, for instance. But now if I would go to background overlay, instead of doing a gradient, I can also go to classic and upload the same image. And now I have more options. So by default, we make use of this gradient here at background. But if I go to the background overlay, I can add an image and then I have more options. So I select this image again. I need to go through the same settings. So position, center, center, no repeat, attachment, fixed. So when I scroll, it stays at the same place. But now look at this. I can change the opacity. I bring it to 0. I see the background. If I bring it to 1, I only see the image. So it's in between by default. But I can also bring it to 1. And look at this. I can go to the blend mode. So I can multiply it. And now it will mix this image with the background. That's really nice. You can do the same thing in Photoshop. So you could go to Photoshop, create something like this, and then save it as an image. But right now you can do it within Elementor. So what else can you do? Stream. And with every setting, you can change the opacity. So you can have an image like this, a background like this. So let's bring it to 70 and then change it to overlay. Darken. Lighten. A few nice options you have over here. I prefer not to make it too distracting. Here, you only use the colors. So now if I would go back to background, I change location to 31, and here I go to 31. Then it's align. Then I can change the angle. So there's a lot you can do. Like that. So as I said, I try to not to make it too crowded, it's like, whoa, what's going on over here? I want the background, I want the colors to be visible more than everything else. So I can go back to opacity, change it back, something like this. And then I can go back to the background. So you know what, I'll do it normally 0, 100. And I go for a darker image. So there's still a gradient, but it maintains the style. I don't want to have a gradient from purple to orange. It's a little bit too much. So that is what we can do. Now it's the same color. So let me bring it back. I can play with the angle. I like to say 90 from left to right. So you see there are a lot of possibilities when you start to change the opacity and all the other options there are over here. So I can also say normal and then just increase or decrease the opacity. Something like that. You can also have videos in the background of your website using Elementor. Let me show you how to configure that. You can also get rid of this. Go to the background and change the gradient to a video. So if I would go to YouTube and I search for GoPro, which one is the newest? I think 13. They always have real cool videos. So right mouse click, copy the link address. Let me paste it. Get rid of everything after this icon or symbol. Copy. Now I can use a video as a background, as you see over here. But we still have now we don't have an overlay anymore. So I can place the video link. And there it goes. The only thing it started with an introduction. I don't want that. So let's see when the real images start. The cool snowboard stuff, etc. Let me see. Yes, from here on. So if I would take a look at the video, I think from '16 on. So I go to start time from second 16, it should start. Well, there's more focus on the lenses, but that's how you can do that. You can also have an end time. So you can say 16 till 30 and then start like that. You can play it once. You can make sure it plays on a mobile. Super cool. You can have a fallback image. So if the video would not work on some devices, you can have a fallback image like this one. But that's what you can do. And then again, you can go to background overlay, go for the gradient, color 1, and let's say color 2. Increase the opacity. It's a small glitch. Let me see. There you go. And then you can decide how much of the video you want to display. So if I click on publish, it will look like this. How cool is this? We're using free tools. I think this is crazy. We're just embedding it from YouTube, so it's not loaded on your website, on your server, so it's not making your website a lot slower. I think this is amazing. You could even create your own video, upload it to YouTube, and then display it like this. It's over the whole width, and we're maintaining the style of our website by that overlay. So that's something you can do. But wait, there is more. You can also have a slideshow with a cool Ken Burns effect, which will make your image zoom in slowly, and then another image will appear, which can zoom out slowly or to the left or to the right. Let me show you how. I can go to the background, get rid of this video, get rid of all the other options, fallback image, turn this off. I can go to the fourth one, slideshow. So I select a few images. Let's select them all. Keep in mind that it can make your website slower. I insert them into the gallery, and now every few seconds, a new image appears. Well, I think it's a little bit slow. So the duration is 5,000 milliseconds, which is 5 seconds. So let's say 2.5. The transition is fade, and I want to take it to take 1 second. So there's a slow fade. Like that. Well, how about we use the Ken Burns effect and lazy load? So an image will only be loaded when it will be displayed. Look at this. Look at this. Publish. Oh man. I know in 2015, this was super cool. Right now, I don't see it a lot at websites. So yeah, it's up to you if you want to use it. I really like this effect. But it's not suitable for every case. But if you want to use it, hey, you can use it. So, and because of the overlay, we can still maintain the style of our website. So I can even increase it. Publish. Look at this. So those are the options you have when it comes to a background. There is one more. That one is really, really, really cool. Let me go back to classic. Get rid of this image. Get rid of the background. So let's go for a normal color. This one. Okay, this is super nice what I'm going to show you right now. Let me publish it. I really like this part. I hope you do too. If you do, you don't know yet, but if you like the video, what you've seen so far, then please like this video. Feel free to subscribe for more upcoming tutorials about WordPress, Elementor, making websites, web shops, making money with affiliate marketing. Now let's talk about something really cool, about using SVG files, which are really small files, sometimes even less than a kilobyte, and do some cool things within Elementor with that. I hope I tease you enough so you keep on watching, because we're going to cover it right now. So right now we have a normal colored background, really lightweight, so just a color. Let me show you what you can do. So we have the blue background here, bluish. If I would go to the overlay, I can go for an image, but I can go for an SVG. It's a form I created in Figma. So if I would go to Figma, I have a tutorial about that. You can go to YouTube, search for Elementor background, Ferdy, Figma. Let me see if mine pops up. Get created with SVG backgrounds in Elementor. Not a lot of views. I don't understand why, because I think this is amazing. I created this form and this one. So let me show you what you can do with that. I click on upload files, select files, and then here at the desktop resources, I go to WebDesign branding, WebDesign 2025. I upload 2 SVGs, a background and a triangle and circle.svg. Open them. If they do not upload, let me show you what you can do. It's already published, so I go to the backend. I go directly to the dashboard. Close this. Okay, what I will do, I will go to Elementor settings. Then I go to advanced. I scroll down and I click here on, or I select enable unfiltered file uploads. I enable this, it's for SVGs. So awesome, I go back, edit with Elementor, go to the backend or to the container style. I go to the overlay and again, upload files. Let's try that again. Now they're working. So let's start with this one. You don't see it, but over here, if you select it, you see an overview, a circle and a triangle. Okay, look at this. We can play around with that, change the opacity. We can make it cover like that. We can make it custom. So we decide how big it should be, how much should be displayed like that. So that's what you can do, but wait, there is more. Since we are working here at the background overlay, we have another option, CSS filters. Look at this, I can make it blurry. So it can create some depth. I can change the brightness, contrast, saturation. I can change the colors. And then we can still use the screen options. So that's one thing you can do. If you take a look at Ferdy.com, I use it like this. You see this over here. Let me show you how you can do that. I go over here and I remove this. I go for the other one. Look how light they are. 725 bytes, less than 1 kilobyte. So it's not making your website heavier. So over here, I can go to the CSS filters, make it blurry. So let's bring everything back by clicking here to default. Why is it going back? I don't know. Let's get rid of all this stuff except the blur. I think this should be 100, 100, 100. So I can make it blurrier. I can always even increase it to more, to 10. So like 20 or even 30. Then I would like to change the width. So that's how you can create something like that for just a few bytes, 700 bytes, less than a kilobyte. So those are some cool ways that can help you create a background you have in mind. Now I want to show you how you can configure everything so that it will be visible on tablets and on smartphones. Right now we are talking about the desktop version, but let me show you how everything can look on other devices. So right now I have this color as my main color and then the background overlay, this image. And it looks amazing. You see the settings over here. If I take a look at the tablet, I still like it. What I can do, if I go to layout, I can change the minimum height. So I can change it like that. Here at the style, at the background overlay, since we use our image over there, I can change the position. So I can focus more on the center of the center. And then it goes like that. If I go to the mobile, it's also now focused on the center of the center because automatically it uses the settings of the bigger device. So over here, it is default. Here at the tablet, I changed it from default to center, and that's why on a smartphone, it also uses center of the center. If I bring this back to default, then it looks okay. But if I go to the mobile, it looks like this. So then over here, I should say center. So you see, for every device, we can adjust how the background looks. Let's go to another example that we use in the tutorial. I see the SVG file, over here the orange circle, and here there's a small part of the triangle. So over here at position, I can bring it to the center. Then I don't see that one anymore, unless I'm on a bigger screen. Now let's take a look at a tablet that looks like that. So now I can go to the display size, do custom, change the width, I can say, by the way, no repeat. So I only see it once. So now I can play around with that. Okay. Then for the tablet or for the mobile, like that, so it's still visible. And then over here, this should be in the center. So everywhere where it looks great. How about videos? Right now I have a video with an overlay, really nice. If I make it smaller, since we're still working, even though it's tablet view, we're still working on a desktop device. We still see the video. In some cases, it will not display on a mobile phone. In that case, what you can do is over here at background, scroll down and use a fallback image. So then I go for this one again. So if somehow the video does not load, this image will be shown, which will make it look like this on other devices. So we have the slideshow with an overlay. This is how it looks on a tablet. This is how it looks on a smartphone. And by default, I really like it. So that's how you can optimize and configure everything for all devices. Ladies and gentlemen, are you having fun? If not, I have good news for you, because right now we're really gonna build something. Until this point, it was all setting up things, practicing, preparing. Now we're gonna make real content for our website. And I want you to learn how to work with everything in Elementor, so that when you make this website, people are not like, okay, oh, you made your first website, but they were like, wow, did you make this? This is so cool. This looks so amazing. That's what I hope that people will say to you when you show them the website you've created through my tutorial. And if you can appreciate that I make this tutorial, then please like this video, unless you already liked it. Because if you like it and then click on it again, then you don't like it anymore. So make sure, if you want to, that you like this video. You can also subscribe if you want to learn more about making websites, selling things on the internet, work with affiliate marketing where you promote other people's products in exchange for money. And then let's start building content for our website. So I click on Edit with Elementor. And now the question is, what do we want to display in the hero? Well, if I make websites, I do it like this. I go to popular websites. So I go to apple.com. And I start to think, okay, what have they done? They have a product, and then there are two options. Learn more or buy. So some people, when they see it, they want to buy immediately, but some others are not convinced yet, so they want to learn more. So it's great when there are two options. Also, when I go to tesla.com, I can do a test drive, or I can order it. Again, 2 or even 3 options. And what I also can do, if I create a web design agency, I can say web design agency London. I can go to the sponsored stuff, then I know it converts well. Or I take a look at the name, then they don't have to pay for the advertisement. So I go to kijo.london. Okay, I see a text, another text, and a call to action. And I see a little bit over here, so I can think, hey, what's that? And I can scroll down. Okay. So that's how you can get inspired. Just take a look at other web design companies. This one, this one, this one. A title, a text, and one button with a few icons. Text. This is cool. It will probably make their website slower, but hey, it's cool. A text, reviews. So that's what I want to do. I want to display something in the background, dark background in this case. I want to have a few options. So what I want to do, I want to create a new area, Flexbox, with 2 options. So this one. So here at the left, I want to have a title and a few buttons. And here at the right, I want to display an image so people can see what I'm capable of, a few websites I've created. So the first thing over here by default, if I go to advanced, the padding is always at the top 60 and at the bottom 60. That's this area. But also when I have containers in a container, if I click over here, I open this. Every container has a padding of 60 at the top. I don't want that over here, the internal containers. So this container, okay, but the other ones, the containers in the container, no. So let me give you some structure, double click. I call this one the hero. The other one, I call this one the title plus the call to actions, CTAs. The right one is a gallery or portfolio. So I can say portfolio. Okay, if I click over here, this is all fine. If I click on this container, I uncheck this area by clicking here. Now you see, don't see those lines anymore. So when I do it here, it will become a bit smaller. Uncheck it because in the internal containers, I don't want to have a padding of 60 at the top. So perfect. Now I can click on the plus. I can drag a heading because I want to use a heading. I can click on the plus and I can add a button. Okay. Again, when I publish it, and I click on the eye, I see the result. Well, I want to use a dark background. How can I do that? I can click over here on the container. I go to the style. I can have a background type of a color by clicking here. So I can choose color 2, for instance. But what I prefer is to use a gradient. So I go to the gradient color 2. Or the first color is color 2. But the second color, I want it to be color 4. So it goes from dark to light. Now I want to change the radius or the angle. So I can bring it to, let's say, 270. So it's light at the left and dark at the right. That's what I prefer. Then I go over here. I go to the style. Typography is pop-ins. And I want to change the color, the text color, to white. If I have a dark background, I want to have a light text. Then I go to content. And here I want to create a heading. How can I do that? Well, I can use AI for that. So I go to chat.openai. And I say, create a converting title about a digital marketing agency, unless you have something else that creates websites. The title is for the hero and should be between 5 and 10 words. Let's see. Crafting websites that drive digital success. I can also say, give me 5 other options. Your partner for high impact websites. So you can use this. I have another ID, so I can say stunning websites that drive results for your business. Okay. Then I can go to the style. I can go to typography and I can change the family font. Right now it's pop-ins. If I want to change something else, it will change, as you see. I go back to pop-ins. I can change the size. I can change the line height. Okay. I'm okay with that. Let's leave it with that. Then I go to the button and I want to change the text, of course. I say learn more. People that are not convinced yet. So the learn more link should be to the services page, what we offer. So I say sir, and I get the service page. Great. Then I go to style. And now I want to change a few things. The text color is white already. The background type can be a gradient or a classic one, and one color. So the color, I want it to be orange, color 1, like that. I want to have a radius of 25, like this button. Okay, and when I hover over it, I want it to be blue, like this one. So I go to hover, color, and I go for the dark one, like that. That's how easy it is in Elementor to work. I like it. There are multiple ways to do things within WordPress. You can have the same results by 2 different ways. So what I try to do is use ways that keep my website light. So I can throw in 1,000 containers in order to get the result I want. but there are also smarter ways to work. Well, I'm going to do my best to show you the smartest way and the way that will keep your website light. And of course, I want you to learn how to do that. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. So I have one button. I want to have another button. So I can duplicate it, but I want those buttons to be next to each other. How can I do that? Well, there are a few ways we can do that. The first one is I can click on the plus. I can drag a new container over here. Then I can drag this one in. And I can drag this one in. But again, they're still below each other. I can click on the container and change direction to from left to right. I go to advanced, uncheck the padding. That's how you can do it. But if I go to the structure, it is a container. In that is another container. And then in that container is another container. It's fine, but if you want to keep the website as fast as possible, let me show you how you can use a better way. So I drag this one below the header, below the button. I get rid of the container. We can also use something else. Let me show you. I click on the container. If I go to the layout, by default, the wrap option is no wrap. So if I click on it, nothing happens. And also when I click on wrap, also nothing happens. But now let me change it for you. I change the direction from top to bottom to left to right. So now everything is next to each other. And now, if I click here, nothing happens. But if I say wrap, look at this. The icon says it a little bit. When there's no more place at the side of this, it goes to the next area. So when I duplicate it, it's still on the same line. But when I duplicate it again, it goes below. So nothing will shrink. But when there's no more space, it will go to the next line. And that's how you can use the horizontal function. So I don't have to create another container. So this item, by default, if I go to advanced, this element, the width is by default 100%. So if I change to 100%, nothing happens. If I change it to custom and I say make it 50%, now there's space for another button. So everything is next to each other until there's no more space, and then it goes to the next line. That's what wrap is doing. So I go back to this one, I delete it and I say default. So by default, it's 100%. So this is a great way to get three areas below each other. But because of the container structure from left to right, it is displayed like this, exactly how I want it to be displayed. Then I go to the container again. By default, the gap is 40. I want to change that to 20. So here is less space in between and here is less space in between. Awesome. The first button is learn more. The second button, I want to change the text to get in touch. And then I click over here, remove it, and then I go for the contact page. Like that. Well, I don't like it when those two buttons are the same. If I take a look at apple.com, they're also different. If I take a look at tesla.com, they're also different. So that's what I want to do. So let's see. The first one, learn more. I want to make it transparent. So I can go to the background, which is orange, and drag this lower slider all the way to the left. And when I do that, look at that. The background is gone. I want to outline the background. So I give it a border type, solid of 2 pixels. But now it's a little bit bigger than the other one. So how can I fix that? Well, I can do that by manually giving a radius. So I go to this one, the padding or the padding. Sorry, I said radius, I mean padding. So if I would say 10, it is 10 everywhere. If I uncheck this, at the top, I can say 10, right? I can say 20. And at the left, I also can say 20. So now when I'm over here, I can do the same thing at style, padding, uncheck this. I can say top 10, right 20, bottom 10, and left 20. But here I have extra space because of those pixels of the outline, the border. So I should say -2, or let's say 8, 18, 8, 18. And now they are aligned. If I would go over here, I would say 0, you see they are exactly the same height. Awesome. If I hover over this, it becomes dark. If I hover over here, it becomes dark. I'm happy with that. So there's some interaction over here. You can give it even more interaction. If I click over here, hover, I can have a hover animation. So I can make it shrink like that when I hover over it. I can change the transition duration, so make it really slow like that. But I'm okay. I think the change of color is more than enough, so I don't use that. But hey, it's a possibility. And again, the result is immediately visible. Okay, well, we have two containers. If I collapse this one, we have the hero, which is the big container. In that we have two containers, one at the left, one at the right. Right is portfolio. We have nothing in it yet, so we can do two things. We can click on the plus over here, or we can click on the plus over here. And then I can search for a carousel. So I can show a few images of websites I have created. I can select the images over here, so let's do that. Then I go to my folder, upload files, select files. I go to the desktop, to ferdy.com resources, web design. Then I want to go to the homepage, and there are 4 mockups. I have a tutorial, you can watch it on my YouTube channel on how to create a mockup. There are 2 different ones, as you see. I want to use this one and this one. So I select them both, open. Okay. I get rid of all the dashes. Web design, web design Amsterdam, web design. Copy it, paste it and paste it. And also here, Games United, paste it and paste it. Create a new gallery, insert the gallery. So right now it looks like this. So let's configure this. This is the image carousel element. And here at content, I can adjust a few things. First thing I see, the resolution is really bad. So I make it a little bit bigger. How about medium large? Okay. How many slides do I want to show? Well, actually I want to show only one at a time. So I say 1. Do I want to have this bullet over here or this area? No. So navigation, nothing, none. Then I scroll down. I open the additional options. And do I want to have auto play? So every 5 seconds a new image appears. Yes. I'll say every 3 seconds, every 3000 milliseconds. Infinite loop. So after the latest image, the first one appears again. Right now it's a slide. I want to use a fade and a fade of 1 second. So like that. Look at this. Nothing happens when I hover over it. So if I go over here, then it changes. So pause on hover, I turn it off. And now every 3 seconds, it changes. I like it. So I publish it and I take a look. What I see, there's a space over here. Why is that? Because of this container, because of all these settings. So what I prefer to do, I go to the container on top of it, the big container, the hero container, and then add layout. I justify the content. So I align the items in the center like that. So that looks so much better. And now that problem is fixed. I publish it. Bam, like that. Selling websites that drive results for your business. Learn more or get in touch. If I click over here, I go to the contact page. If I click over here, I go to the service page, which we still have to fill with content, but we just are scratching the surface. I click over here to go back to the homepage. Selling websites that drive results for your business. Learn more, get in touch, and then there's the gallery. So far, so good. I said before that there are multiple ways to do things. And right now I want to give you an example. I created the result I have when it comes to the visuals, but there's a smarter way to do things that will keep my website lighter. I want to say wider, lighter. I'm mixing up words. But what I want to say is that I can use a different technique, different way that will keep my website lighter. Instead of keep on talking, I will just show you what I mean. Right now, this carousel is in a container, as you see over here. But what I also can do, I can drag this element out of this container and place it in between. Okay, that's not exactly how I wanted to go. At the other end, it is how I wanted to go because now I can show you a solution. If you do something like this, or you can say Command or Control Z, then it goes back. So let me mess it up again. Let me place it over here. Okay, what I can do now, I can go to the structure and I see the image carousel is now in the title container. I can drag it in between the containers. So here's a container, here's a container. I can drag it over here. So now there are 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. I don't need the third one, so I hover over it, get rid of it. So now it looks like this. We have a hero with a title container with 3 elements. And then next to that, we have an image carousel. But right now, it's not evenly divided. So how can I do that? Over here at the container, I can go to the width and it says 50%. And when it comes to an element, you don't have that here. You have no layout but content. So I need to go to advanced, change the width from default to custom. And then in percentage, I also would say 50. So now we have the same result. As you see, exactly the same, but now we removed a container. And that's how I want you to learn how to work as efficient possible and keep your website as light as possible. So what else can we do? When I say at the image carousel, I want this to be 60. So I want it to be a bit bigger. This automatically adjusts. So, or you want the image to be smaller and give more space to this area. Well, right now, when I make it smaller, look at this. It goes to the left. I want it to stay at the side. How can we do that? Well, remember here at the settings of this container at layout, it's going to be more clear over time. The more we work with this, the easier it becomes. So by default, we justify content to the left. So when I make this smaller, it goes to the left. But I can also justify the content by bringing it to the center. So now when I change the size, it goes to the center. But what I prefer in this case, I go to the hero, to layout, space between. So this will be completely at left and this will be completely at right. So if I make this 30% and this is only 50, here's the space, but this will be totally at the left and this at the right. So if I would say 50, that's too much. Let's say 50. If I make it smaller, that becomes smaller to the right. That's what I prefer. So I'm okay with 50-50. Or maybe not. So I say 45 and then over here, I say 55. Well, let's keep it with 50 and let's keep this with 50. Publish. I want to create a shape divider and show you how you can do the same. I'm at the point in the tutorial that I feel like I can do anything. I can unbutton. Okay. Why? If you're until this point, you're serious. I want to congratulate you with that. I will not unbutton my shirt. You don't want to see that. What? No. Okay, what I'm doing, I'll show you how to work with a shape divider, which in my opinion makes your website look so much cooler. If I go to the backend, I go to the hero, to style, then I scroll down, I can go to the shape divider. If I go to the bottom, I can choose a type. There are a lot of types. You don't see an example, but you can see the word. So if I would say clouds, here you see clouds. So these look like blue clouds. You can adjust the height. You can flip it the other way around. You can invert it, bring it to the front. You can change the color. So I don't use all those. I like curves. And then I can invert them. Then I can decrease the height. Create something like this. That's what I like. Or I like waves. I can change the width. I can change the height. I like it to be a little bit subtle. I can invert it. I can flip it. Okay, I like it. I can do it at the top also. So waves. Change it. Change the height. But I'm okay. I don't want it. So for the top, I say nothing. Publish. I think that looks amazing. Stunning websites that drive results. for your business. Learn more, get in touch. So this seems to be a great hero, and there is still more we can do. Do you know what CSS means? It means cascading style sheets. And that's what's been used in WordPress. But the great thing is when you create a website, you use PHP, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, but we don't have to know those codes, all those languages, because WordPress and Elementor and the Blocksy theme are doing all the hard stuff for us. They make it visual for us, so we can just drag a slider to the left. But when you do that and you save it, a new CSS file will be exported and saved. We don't see that. We don't have to work with the CSS code, but in some cases we can use custom CSS codes. So I will show you right now how you can do that. You can be overwhelmed, but no problem. I will just show you step by step how you can work with that. And in that way, again, we can work more efficiently, and that's what I love. So let's get on. Let's get on. Is that the right way to say that? Let me show you how you can do that. I want to highlight this word. I want to make it orange. But not just orange, I want to make it a color of our color palette. So if I would change that color in the website, it will not only be changed over here, but also here. So how can we do that? Let's go to the customizer. Then I go to colors, color 1. And over here, I can copy this. So let me copy it by clicking here. Now I close this. I go to the backend, or I go to the Elementor page builder. And if I click over here, I go to content, I can change the text over here. So stunning websites, I want to change this color. How can I do that? Well, let me show you. There's a code for that. You can type it along or go to the description of this YouTube video, and then I will place it over there. So there's an opening arrow, shift, comma, like this. And then we need to have a span. This is called HTML. We're going to use a little bit of CSS. Then there is style equals shift, comma. So this one, I don't know what it's called. And I say color VAR. And I say opening parentheses, and I paste the color we just copied, and then I close it, shift 0. So closing parentheses. And then after this, I say shift point, so it's an arrow to the right. So everything from the word websites on will have this color. So I need to close it after websites. How can I do that? Well, over here, I say opening arrow /. That means closing the span, arrow to the right. So now, stunning websites that drive results for your website. I could say we create stunning websites that drive results for your website, but let's make it shorter. And I like to have every first word to be a capital. Like that. Now, when I publish this, I see the result over here. And if I go to the customizer and I decide to change the color of the website, the color orange, I copy this. If I'll bring this over here, look at this. Not only does this button change and this one, but also this one, because we linked it with a code to the variable color over here. So I can change this one, I can change other colors, and then in a few seconds, we can change the look and feel of our website. Well, I will bring it back, but that's what I really like. So I can also use it later in the website. I'm really happy with that. So I decide to say, we create stunning websites that drive results for your business. And again, if I want to, I can go to the container, increase this to 55, and then decrease this to 45. And then this will be smaller, this will be bigger. Publish. It's your website. It's up what you, it's your website, so you can do whatever you want. I think this is too much. So I go back 50. Publish. Awesome. Right now I want to talk about the hero. Am I the hero for showing you how to make a website? Are you the hero because you're making the website? Aren't we all heroes? The heroes of our own lives. And we create the story of the hero that we are by doing what we do in life. Wow. You know what? Let me show you how to optimize the hero for all devices. We go to Elementor and there are 3 buttons over here. Desktop, and here's the tablet. Okay, what I can do. Look at this. This is amazing. I go to this element, the heading. I go to the style. Here at typography, we can change a lot of things. And look at this. Everywhere where I see a tablet icon, I can change things. And then those settings will only be changed for the tablet. So for a desktop, if I go to typography, the text is 41. If I say 41, so I can change it here. But if I go to the tablet, typography, I have the tablet icon. If I change this, I can have a different size. I can also play around with the line height because there is also the same icon. So maybe a bit smaller. Like that. So on a desktop, it looks bigger, 41. On a tablet, it is smaller. It is 26. Let's go to the mobile. Okay, I can click over here and I see alignment. There's an icon, so I can change it for this device. I can also go over here to the container and say for the justify content for the mobile should be in the center. And also for this one, center like that. There's not much space over here, so I can click on the element. Advanced, I can change the custom width to percentage and then 100. And then I can go to margin, uncheck that, and at the top, I can create some extra space. And also at the bottom, if I want to. So now for both the desktop, it looks great. Tablet, it looks great. And here it looks great. Maybe for the tablet, there should be a little bit more space. So I can also click over here. Layout, I can change the minimum height to something like 350. So I'm happy. Also here, I can change it. Let's say 520. And also here, there doesn't need to be as much space anymore. Maybe nothing at all. I keep on learning, and there are more ways to do things. I just did it okay in the right way, and I can also do it the way I'm showing you right now. So now it's optimized for all devices. So later in the tutorial, when I want to copy this whole area and paste it somewhere else, I know it's already optimized for all devices. Are you having fun? I hope so. I do my best to make those tutorials really helpful for you. So thank you for watching until this point, because that helps me to be found more in the search results of YouTube. So what I want to do now, I want to create a second area and make use of ChatGPT. That can help us to write amazing content. And then I want to show a few key features of our business and just ask ChatGPT what they would say. So let me show you how to use ChatGPT and implement the content in our website using Elementor. I want to display information over here that makes me stand out from my competitors. And I want to use AI to give me some help. So I will say to AI, what are 3 key things my company should have when I want to stand out from my competition in the area of web design agencies? Give me 3 short titles, and for every title a 20 to 25 word text. Even if there are mistakes in the text, you know, AI gets me. Custom tailored design. So, okay, SEO. client experience. Okay, that's what I want to go for. Of course, if you have your own text, you can use your own text. So this is how I would do this. There's already a area over here. I can drag a widget in, or I can click on the plus, go for the flexbox. I want to drag an image or a element in. So I click on the plus and I want to go for an icon box. So I collapse Pro, an icon box. I drag it over here. I want to duplicate it twice. So I hover over here, duplicate it. And again, I want to be next to each other instead of below each other. So I click on the container. I can go to the structure and call this one 3 surfaces. And here at the container layout, I want to say the direction should be from left to right. One direction. That's what I want. One direction from left to right. And then here, Justin Bieber. Yeah, why not? Why would I say things like these? I don't know. I just want to be myself. This is my humor. I'm from the Netherlands. It's maybe a little bit weird, but it is what it is. So, ChatGPT, what we're saying, custom tailored designs. That's too long. So I say we have custom designs. We want to stand out with that. We don't use templates, custom designs. Okay, what else? I can grab this text. Okay. And I also have an icon. So again, the first step is about the content. So not about the layout, just the content. So I want to change the icon, let's say a check mark. So I can scroll down or I can search for check. I want to use this one, insert. Okay. Then there are a few things I can do over here to make it look better. I can go to the style. I can go to the icon and there's only one color. So I can change it to orange, but I want it to look different. So I can go back to the content. I can change the view from default to stacked. And now it looks like this. I can also make it framed. And I can also have a frame around it. Well, I prefer stacked like that. So that's that. And I want to change the box icon position to the left. Then I go to the icon. I want to make it a little bit smaller. Then I want to go to the content, to the title. Where is the title? I change the color to color 4. And I want to make it a bit smaller. So I do the upper arrow on my keyboard. Let's say 24. Okay, the text, I want it to be closer. So I go back to the box, the icon space. I can bring it closer. Can adjust over here, let's say 14, and the content space 0, like that. And I actually like it. Maybe I want the text to be a bit smaller. So I go to the content area, typography. This is the title. I go below to the typography. $13. Okay, but I want to do more. I go to the container, go to the style. I want to change it to a dark background for now. This one. Now I go to the element here. Also, element can have a background. So I can go to advanced, close layout. Then I go to background, background type, classic, and I change it to white. Okay. Then I can go to the border tab below. And I can say 25. Then I can go to the layout, to padding, and then I say 25. That's what I like. Okay, great. Why is there this space over here? Because this is the height of this element. So if I make this even bigger, this will grow along with it. So that's why that is increasing. So I will get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. I will duplicate it. And I will duplicate it again. And now I can change the content. So SEO driven development. Okay, let me copy the text. And I change SEO driven development to, I go for organic results. Organic results. Because of the SEO, people find my website without me advertising. Then I paste the text. Also 4 lines. I like it. Then I need to change the icon, organic. Well, I think about a leaf. They have it. Awesome. Then I go to the third one, which is exceptional client-centered or client experience. So I want to focus on the client. So I change the title to client-centered. I change this to a heart. And then I want to grab the text. If you want to, you can also say, hey, make the text easier. So it's totally up to you. Okay, also 4 lines. I really like it. What I want to do now, I want to bring it a bit more to the top. So over here, I can go to layout. I can change the minimum height to 500. Now I can go to this container and then I change the background to nothing. Then I go to advanced. I uncheck the padding. Now I uncheck this also, and at margin I say minus, and I start to drag it up. Until I think that's nice. Of course, I need to play around with this now. I will definitely do that. Okay. I'm missing a shadow here, so I click over here. I go to advanced, border, and then over here, box shadow, turn it on, and then increase the blur. Do something like this. Now, I want the same shadow to be there. How can I do that? Really simple. Right mouse click, copy, right mouse click, paste, style, and paste the style. Now it's also over here. Awesome. If I click on publish, okay, I like it, except for space over here. So how can I play around with that? Over here, let me see, I decrease the minimum height, and then I want to go to advanced, and then I uncheck the padding. And at the bottom, I want to increase it. And now it's pushing this up. I want to push this a little bit down. How about minus 90? A little bit less. Okay, then I go to this container. And this 90. So 90 versus minus 90. And that makes this go to the center. Again, or vertically. Okay. I like it, but I'm missing the shadow. Where is the shadow? Oh, it's gone. I accidentally removed it by saying Command Z too much. That happens when I'm making a website. I make mistakes and then I fix those again. So 30, copy, paste cells. Paste cells. By the way, when I make websites, I like to put on some music. Music I like, music that makes me happy, and just play around. I like it. I often work with, not based on my hourly rate, but I work in project. So I get a fixed fee unless there are things out of the scope, outside of the scope. So I can feel free to be relaxed, work on it whenever I want, as long as I bring results. So now it looks like this. I think this looks amazing. What I prefer is to have less space over here. So I go to this container and I decrease at layout the gaps from 40 to 20. Publish, refresh. I like it. When you want to have more, you can more items over here. 4 things. You can just create a new one, but then it starts to look like this. Maybe not what you have in mind, but what you can do then, go to the container layout and increase the width. Then you go outside of the borders. So let's say 1420. Publish. And now if I make this smaller, it looks like that. So here are the lines of the website, but you can exceed those by giving a custom value. And I think that's really nice. So if you want to do that, you can do that. And now it looks like this. Well, I prefer to stick within the size of the website. There can be a case that they're not, they have a different width. Well, in that case, you can do this. Go to the width, custom, and say 30%. Then go over here, change it to custom, and then 30%. Then go to the third one, change it to custom, 30%. But then a total of 90% and a few pixels, it's not covering the whole width. So what I can do then, I can make everything grow by clicking on one of the elements below 30%. There's the size, and I can make it grow. And I click here, I make it grow. Over here, I make it grow. And then they should all be exactly 33% or exactly 1/3 of the width. And then they also keep in mind that there is a gap over here of a certain amount of pixels. But now they're perfectly in the same width. And I think this is beautiful. Let's take a moment to check and appreciate what we have created so far. I think it is amazing. And if this is your first website, congratulations, because I think you're making an amazing, beautiful website. It can be really cool to use animations in your website. Let me show you how. In order to give your website animations, we go to the Elementor page builder and we can select anything. For instance, this one. I can go to advanced, close layout, then I go to motion effects, and then there is the entrance animation, and I can say fade in left, and then it comes from the left. I would like to say after 0.25 seconds, it will appear. After that, this one. So layout, motion effects, entrance animation from the right. And then let's say 500. So after half second, then this one will appear. So let's go to motion effects from the left after 750. This one, let me see, from the right. Also from the right after 1 second. And then over here, this one, we can make it fade up. Fade in up. We can even make it slow after 1250. This one, motion effects, fade in up, slow after 1.5 seconds. And this one after 1.750 seconds. So 750. Now if I publish it, look at this. How cool is that? It is cool, but I have to say it makes your website a bit slower. And if I take a look at really cool websites, popular websites, Amazon.com, I see no animations. If I take a look at Apple.com, I see no animations. When I take a look at Tesla.com, I see no animations. So it's nice, but it's not necessary. So if I click over here, I can get rid of everything. I prefer to remove everything. So also the time, because I have the idea that when I would say close this, then that this number is still somewhere stored. So I prefer to make that, get rid of that. So my website stays as fast as possible. Get rid of this and then this. Because now if I bring it back to fade in, this is still there. So let's get rid of that and then get rid of that. And now my website is static again. How does it look on different devices? Well, let's find out. This is what I don't like. So I click over here and I say, bring it below each other. But then I need to go to the elements over here and change the custom width to 100, or even better, to pixels, 600. Also here, pixels, 600, pixels, 600. And then I go to the container. And for the tablet, I say bring it to the center, or here center. What I see, since I changed a few settings over here, I need to adjust a few things over here, because here I changed the padding. So now I need to say 45 45 everywhere. And then I need to go to layout, make this a bit higher. What if I bring this back, Command Z, go to advanced, I uncheck this and only at the bottom will I make it higher. Okay. 600 I said. How about 500? 500 and 500. So this for the tablet. And then for the smartphone, click over here. I say, let's make it 30 everywhere. So there's still a nice overlap. And then there's the order over here. And if I wanted to, somehow, I could change the order over here. So it's custom designs, organic results, and client-centered. I can also say the order should be 3. This should be the order 1. This one should be 2. Well, that is possible. I don't like it. I can also go to the history by clicking here. History, icon box edited, custom order. So I go to this one. There was the latest one before I changed the order. So click over here and now everything's back and I don't have to do manually by clicking Command Z a few times. Okay. Let's exit to WordPress. Edit with Elementor. And then I click on the eye. Yes, it should open a new tab. So, okay. And okay. Good. What is next? We're going to create another area in our website. This time I want to tell a little bit more about our company. I want to show a few images through a slideshow and talk more about my company, what it is, what it can do. And of course, you can be free to follow along with this, or you can decide to give your own spin. It's all up to you, but I'm going to show you how I would do this in the next container. I go to Elementor, new area. So I click on the plus. I want to go for a flex box. You know what? I want to go for another carousel. Still don't know how to say it. I drag it over here. There it is. And after that, I want to use a container. So it will be below each other. Now I can say it should be next to each other. So I click here and I start to fill this with a few images. So I click on the plus. Then I go to upload files, select files. Then I go to my desktop, Ferdy.com resources. I go for web define, for business. And here you see a few images. I can't share these images because they are bought on iStock. So I will upload them right now. Open. If you also want to get the same images, you can go to ferdy.com/iStock, hit enter, and then search for business photos. I scroll down until I see one of those images over here. And then I can go for same photos. So I can add a few. They have the same style. And you can buy them with credits. So you can sign up and that's how that works. But I cannot share this with you because then I can get a fine. And you also can get a fine if you don't have the license. So I don't want that for you. So I grab the first one, hold Shift, the latest one. I can change the order. So I could say, okay, first we're going to talk. Then we're going to make a plan with post-it notes. Then we're going to assemble the team to talk about it. Then somebody's going to work on it. And then showing it to the client. So there is a certain order in it. Insert the gallery. We have done this before. I want to change the resolution to 768. Show one slide at a time. Like that. I do want to make use of the bullets, but not of the arrows. So I say dots. Okay. I go to the additional options. Every 3 seconds. It can take 1 second to have the new slide. Okay. Then I go to the style. The position of the bullets or the dots, I want it to be inside. I want to change the color of all the bullets. They should be white, except for the active one that can be orange, like that. The image, I want to have a border radius of 25. And that makes me actually quite happy. I was happy already and now I'm even more happy. One more thing over here. Advanced. At the bottom, I want to have a padding of 60. Over here, this container, I go to the style. I want to have a gradient background with color 2 and color 4. And then I want to have an angle of 270. Like that. Great. Now at the right area, first I go to the container. I uncheck the padding. So there's no line anymore over here. Like that. And I want to go for a heading. Change the color to orange. And I want to go with a text area. So I add the text editor here below. I change the color of the text to color 8. And I go to ChatGPT. And then I say, create a 300 word text about, it can be about your company. So you can just describe your company. I say about the company web design based in Amsterdam. A web design agency with the focus of creating custom websites, optimize them for the search results and drive traffic through ads. Let's see if it still understands me if I don't fix this. Or why not fix it? Well, let's say enter. I like the title. I did not even ask for it, but hey, I got it. I think the text is too long. Welcome to Web Design. So over here, at the content, I say, welcome to Web Design. And then the text, I say, make it between 80 and 100 words. I even like this more. So I copy this. I can make the text a bit less big, 24. Then I want to go for this text. Paste it. I want to have 2 paragraphs like that. Publish it. Web Design, your digital growth partner. And then meanwhile, you'll see the images sliding. Okay, let's see if I can make this faster. Content 3, maybe every 2 seconds. You know what? 2.5. Okay. And what I also want to do, I want to focus on a few words over here, highlight a few words. So I can do that by making them bold, by clicking here. We live in or are based in Amsterdam, Command B, or I click over here. Organic traffic is really important to us. So, okay. So now they are bold. Now what I can do, I can go over here. I can grab this, copy it, do the same thing. So I go to the text area, the text tab, and then after strong, bam. And then before the ending of strong, / span. Like that. Also here, after strong, and before the end of strong, span. And then again, the third time, Okay. I go to visual, publish. Awesome. Based in Amsterdam, boosting visibility and organic traffic. Awesome. Well, you know the drill. Let's see how it looks. What I see over here is that this is now completely below. In order to fix it, I click over here. I go to the layout and I say, justify the content to the start and align the items at the start. So now it's back there. If you want to play around with these settings or with the width, you can do that over here. Advanced, custom, percentage. Make it bigger or make it smaller. And that way you can play around with that. Well, I'm okay with how it looks, 50-50. And then for the mobile, it looks like this. And what I prefer to do, click over here, advanced, and then the order, bring it to the end. So instead of on top of it, it's below. So this is how it looks on a normal device or a computer. And this is how it looks on a tablet and on a mobile phone. So I hope you get the hang of it. Learn how to work with Elementor. I think it's an amazing tool. We're making use of free tools. The only thing we paid for so far is web hosting and maybe the stock images if you use those. And I think what we have so far is amazing. When I create a website for myself or for my company, I want to show my visitors a little bit of credibility, like for whom have I worked? So I want to show you how you can create an area like that. Remember that we used a container with direction from left to right when we created a few things below each other. That's what we're going to do again. So I click on the plus and I want to add a flexbox from left to right. I want to start with a heading. I can also copy a heading. So right mouse click, copy, or I can duplicate it. Then I can drag it over here. And then I can say companies we work with. Okay. Then I go to advanced. I go to width, full width. I go to the container and I say wrap. So since this is 100%, everything I created next to it will go to the next line. So I go for an image. I can just drag it anywhere. Let me see, sometimes it gets a little bit tough, especially with this construction. Okay, so I click on it, choose an image. What you can do, you can go to the companies you work for. And then, for instance, if I would work with Tesla, I have a tool, an extension called SVG Grabber. I click on it and I can download this as an SVG and adjust the size or use the SVG. So I download a few images. I go to upload files, select files. I call it companies. I don't know if I can share those. So you need to find the logos you want to use. They're not all exactly the same size, but that's okay. I click on select, duplicate, duplicate, and duplicate. And then the next one will be the second logo, NVIDIA. The third one, Google. And the fourth one will be Amazon. So now I want to tell this how big it should be. Remember, we have 40 pixels gap everywhere. So over here, I need to say advanced, change the width to a custom. And if I would say 25%, copy, paste style, paste style, and paste style, this one will not fit because it's a total of 100%, but then we still have those gaps. Well, it's really hard to measure or to add up something that's in percentage and then something that's in pixels. So what I will do, I will make this 20%. We've done this before. Paste the style, paste the style, paste the style. So now it's 80% plus a few gaps, but then there's still space left. So what I can do, I can, if I want, I can click over here and make it grow. Also here, make it grow, advanced, grow, advanced, grow. So it stretches, it grows as much as it can. Now, let me adjust this a little bit. at the direction is okay. I want to justify the content to the center, but also align the items like this. Look at this. It's better. Okay. This can be a bit bigger. So what I will do, I just click over here. Okay. This is okay. I can bring it to the center over here. Companies we work with, Tesla, Nvidia, Google, and Amazon. Well, what the thing is with Amazon, there's this arrow which will make the text go a little bit up because it's putting this in the center vertically. So what I can do, I can click over here. I can go to transform. This is so cool. Offset. And then X or Y. Well, at the Y, I want to bring it a little bit lower. That's how easy it is. Okay. And if I think, okay, Google is too big or the Amazon logo is too big, I just go to advantage or advanced and then change the 20% to something else. And then everything else will become bigger. And in that way you can decide what should get more attention or less, especially when you use a totally different logo. So in that way you can play around with it. What I prefer, prefer to change the width to 600, maybe 800. Okay, and what I also could do if I want to, I can change this. So if I would say 80, there will be more space left. But I'm okay with 40. So I just get rid of this. So by default, it is 40. One other thing I want to change, the columns are okay with 40, but the rows, I want them to be 20. So they are closer to each other. And here it is 60 and here it is 60. And that's what I like. I like to keep some space. If I would do it like this, 0, it's all too close to each other. And also over here, if I would say 20, there's not much space. I have made dozens of tutorials. I keep on saying it, and then sometimes I go to a website from someone and those edges are still too close to each other, and I don't understand it. Giving your website some space over here, over here, over here, from the sides makes it such a better experience for the viewer. People are still putting everything close to each other. So over here, layout, I uncheck this. This can be 40, and this can be 20. How about 60? Yes. Publish. Now, how does it look on different devices? I can show it like this on a tablet, and then I go to a mobile. I think automatically it will look great. Well, it's not the case. So I could say percentage, or I could say 45. I think it's going to be 40. So how about 40? And 40. Okay. So it needs to be a total that is less than 100. So here it's a total of 90, 80, 40 plus 40. And it's because the big gap in between of 60 pixels. So you need to play around with it. It cannot be 50 and 50 because then it will go to the next line. So if I make this bigger, you see that's what's happening. So you need to play a bit around with that. So now it's optimized for all devices. As you see, dark area, light area, dark area, light area. I like to work with that. I don't know if that's the case over here. If you would go to Apple, dark, dark, light, 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 dark, dark, light. Not exactly 100%, but you know, Apple doesn't do everything right, you know. No, just kidding. That's what I prefer. You don't have to do that, but I like to do that. We have learned quite a few things already about Elementor. Right now, I want to combine a few things. I want to copy a few things, paste a few things, change the style, do a little bit of advanced styling. I want to work with containers in containers and show you how we can use that and do a little bit more with the design. So let's get right on with it. English is not my main language, it's Dutch. So sometimes my English is weird, but I hope it does not distract you too much. I go to Elementor, new area. So I go for a container with everything below each other, flexbox below each other. I want to give this a background. So I go to the style, a dark background gradient, the first color, color 2, and the second color, color 4. And again, the angle 270. Unless you feel like 272 feels better. But not everything in life is about how you feel. Have you ever thought about that? Well, you can do so after watching this tutorial. And now I can click on the plus and I want to go for a heading, or I can copy it or duplicate it. Drag it over here. Or if you prefer, I get rid of it. Copy, right mouse click, paste. It's also easy with Elementor. Love it. So I can show a title like this. I also want to show you what else is possible. And it's really easy to do so. So I go to advanced. Then I can go to backgrounds. And I can give this a orange background. It's over the whole width. Okay, interesting. Then I go to the style of the text. And I want to change the text color to white. Why is this over the whole width? Remember, over here, we worked with a width of 100%. That's the reason why. So I click over here. I go to advanced and I get rid of the full width. Bring it back to default. Okay, better. I think there's not much space around it, so I can go to the style, typography, and I can make the text smaller. Or I can go to advanced padding and increase that. Like that. Now I go for a new area, container. I'm gonna work with containers. Click on the container, go to advanced, uncheck the padding. And in that container, I want to have 4 other containers. Let's click over here. I want the containers over here to be from the left to the right. So in the containing container, I say that everything should go from the left to the right. So now if I drag a container in it and I uncheck the padding and I duplicate it, there are 2, 3, 4 next to each other. That's what I want. So I will add a few elements in it, and then I will show you how you can make something nice out of that. So first I want to start with an icon. So I drag an icon over here. By the way, over here in this container, everything should be below each other. So let's see what's happening. Then I want to go for a heading. And it is below each other. I want to have another heading. And then I want to have a icon list. So right now it looks like this. We're gonna make it look so much better. The first thing I want to do, I want to go to the container, to the style of the container. I want to give it a dark background. So I go to classic color and I pick one of the colors. Let's go for this one. Awesome. It's the same as the title color, so you don't see the text anymore. Then I want to go to the border, give the radius of 25. You see that over here. Then I want to go to the advanced area layout. And at the padding, I want to say 25. So there's a little bit more space around it. Okay. I click on the first icon. And what I want to say over here, I want to talk about branding. I have 4 services: branding, web design, SEO, and advertising. That's the one I want to elaborate over here. Talk about that a little bit more. So over here, I go for a fingerprint because branding has everything to do with your unique style, which is the same as a fingerprint. It's not the same, but your fingerprint is also unique. And I want to give this a color white. Then I want to go to the text. I want to give this the title or the text 01. Then I go to style, change the color to orange. Then I go to the second heading. I give this the title branding. I go to the style, change it to white. Then I go over here. I go to the style of the text and I make it also white. I go back to the content close this, list item, close it. And then I say item 1. I duplicate it and I duplicate it. Over here I say item 2. Over here I say item 3. I go back to the container, to layout. Everything should be below each other. Everything should be in the center and also horizontally in the center. Then I want to go to advanced. Also at the bottom, I want to have 25 pixels, a little bit more space. At the same time, at layout, I don't want to have 40 pixels in between everything. So I'll bring it back to 20. Okay. This is okay. I can make it a bit bigger. How about 60? Then I go to the title. I want it to be really small. So I go to typography and make that 16. Then I go to branding. That's fine with me. I go to advanced, uncheck the margin and decreases. So I go to the minus like that. And if I click on publish, it looks like that. Branding with 3 items. I think I can even decrease the layout gap. To 10. And then over here, I increase it again. Minus 20. Okay, I like it. What I can do, I can go to the container, to the style, give it a border of, solid border of 2. Not 15, but 2. What's going on over here? 2. Change the color to or white or orange. That's up to you. If you want to do something with that, makes it pop. But on the other hand, I don't see that a lot in my style. So I don't see why I should use borders. But I just want to show you that you can do it if you want to. So you can also make it dotted, do a lot of things. I say none, but maybe I want to have a shadow. And then again, I want to have I want it to be 30. Let's see how that looks. There's no more sharp edge now. No, thank you. Hey, but hey, I showed you that's possible. I want to duplicate it 3 times. And then I will fast forward and change all the information over here. So there you go. Let's increase the space a bit more. Copy, paste the style. Paste the style and paste the style. I want this to be aligned in the center. So I go to the style, bring it to the center like that. Copy, paste the style, and paste the style. Publish. It looks great. But how does it look on a different device? Well, let's find out. Tablet. No, thank you. Smartphone. Great. So what I could do in this container, I could say I want to make use of the width of 20. Make sure it's percentage. Then this one also 20. Then this one 20. And this one 20. Now I want to make it grow. So I click over here. Go to advanced, grow. The second one, the third one, and the fourth one. So now when I go to the tablet, okay, no, thank you. So what I will do, I'll go to the container, but the upper containers. I go to structure, the container that contains the 4 containers. I want to rename this 4 steps. And over here, I want to turn on wrapping. So when it doesn't fit, it goes to the next area. So I go to the, let me see, the first container, change the layout to percentage 45. Over here, percentage 45. The third one, percentage 45. The fourth one, layout percentage, percentage 45. Now over here, it's already great. So now people can see what I do. And I showed you how you can create something like this. And before, it was quite hard to do this with CSS. And now with Elementor, it's quite easy. So this is the website we have. It's optimized for all devices. We're getting there. And it's not only that you're going to make this website, but you're going to learn how to make websites. So you can learn how to make other websites. And I think that's something amazing. I do it already since 1999. I still love it. And it becomes easier and easier. I want to create a new container showing some statistics about how many people work here, how many projects I've already done. And also here you can decide to put in your own statistics. I will do the statistics I'm about to show you. Let's go for a container. Everything from left to right. I go for a counter. And I can have a cool number. So 430. From 0 to 430. And then I can say a suffix after that. I want to have a plus more than 430. But what the title is websites made. And what I like to do, I like to link this number with the duration. So I would like to say 4.3 seconds. So 100 websites per second in showing this. Okay, let's go to the style. Bring it to the center. And to the number, I want it to be orange. And the color of the title, I want it to be light and a little bit bolder. How about 600? Yes, well, I want this to be closer to each other. So I go to the counter, title gap, number gap. Well, it seems to be the closest as possible. I cannot go into the minus. Maybe here at typography, I can play around with the line height. Well, that's sometimes how I have my workarounds. And then I can go to advanced, to transform, offset, Y. And that way bring it back. That's how I roll. Sometimes there is no right or wrong way. You know, some things will create some extra code in the website. If that's the case, it's not gonna kill your business or something. It's not gonna make a big difference. So there are multiple ways to do things. I prefer this one in this case. So I will duplicate it. Okay. I want to do the same as I did before over here. I don't want to use wrapping, or I do want to use wrapping. And then here I want to make this width and advanced 20%. Copy, paste the style, paste the style, paste the style. And then one more thing to make the magic happen. Click on the grow. Grow, grow, and grow. So it aligns nicely with this. Okay, I'll show other information. So here at content, I say I work for 26 years into the web design industry. So 2600 or like that. So it goes really fast. Not websites made, but years of experience. Then the third one, content is 600 employees, or just make it really quick like that. And then the latest one, we won already 26 awards. So Let's change the text over here to words. Not plus, that's not a plus. This is also not a plus. Like that. You know what? Let's give them all the same length. So I would like to say 5 seconds for everything. This one, and this one. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm happy, man. This is a great result. Forgot to change the text over here. So I click over here, content. This is how we do it. This is how we work. Perfectenschlag. So what else can we do? Now I want to create an area that I want to show on every single page in my website. So we're going to create something. It's a call to action so people can reach out to us. And then I want to save it as a template and place it back on other pages in my website so we can work more efficient. As you know by now, I love that. So to work more efficient. So let me show you how you can create an area like that. Later, when you have blog posts in your website, you can have an overview of the latest blog post. Right now, I want to create the last area. I want to show you something new. We can work with templates. So I will create a new area. Click on the plus. Everything below each other. I want to give it the same background again. I know, you know, color 2, color 4, 270. I want to start with a title so I can copy this one if I want to, or this one. Let's see. There you go. I bring it to the center and I say, get in touch with, get in touch with us. Then I can have a divider. This is the only moment in Elementor I type divi. Then I can bring it to the center, go to the style, make it orange, increase the weight, make it 2. Then I go back to content. I change it from percentage to pixels and I say nothing, or wait, you know what? 500. No. 300. No, 200. Yes. Then I go for a text area. We're going to make use of ChatGPT again with all the information above. Create a converting text of 15 till 20 words about that people can reach out to us if they are interested in our services. ChatGPT will do everything for us, and you can also say make it simpler, make it longer, make it use more sophisticated words, whatever. Okay, I like this. Copy, paste it. Of course, I want the text to be white. I want it to be in the center. I also go to the container and change the gaps from 40 to 20. Maybe I should do that everywhere. And a button, I can go for this one. Drag it all the way down here below. And I bring it to the center. And then I go to the container and I say width should be 600. Like that. Okay, I publish it. Let's take a look. Great. Now I can say right mouse click over the container and then I can say save as a template. I can call this one CTA below page. So below at every page I want to add this call to action. Save it. Okay, now I can go over here, click on add new page, or I can say Command E, add new page. Then I can click on the folder icon, my templates, insert, apply. There you go. Then you have that area. I don't want to do anything with this, so I will leave it. So I click over here, exit to the dashboard, leave the site. Now I go to the pages and I get rid of this draft, which I just created over here. Trash, go to the trash, empty the trash. I go to the home page, edit with Elementor. This is the page we've created. By the way, how does it look actually on a different device? I forgot to do that with those things over here. So let's do it now. I'm sorry. So sorry. I go to the title. Then I go to the number. $50. Copy. Paste style. Paste style. Paste style. Also over here, go to layout, cap. Make it 10. For the mobile, no way. I go over here, advanced, change the custom width to 100, copy, paste the style, paste the style, paste the style. And this looks great. And on a other device, it also looks great on the tablet. So we have our homepage. And you've learned a lot about Elementor. So maybe you don't want to create the exact same website I have in mind, but by showing you how to create a page like this, we cover a lot of basic Elementor features that you can use to create the website you have in mind. So if you would go to another website, that's my goal for you. At the end of the day, you are able to create something that you see on another website. So you see something, you're like, hey, let's do that using Elementor. I want to create another template with the title area of our page, so we can save a lot of time. I go to the About page, I click on Edit page, and then I can click on Edit with Elementor. Awesome. Now I can click on the eye, then I go to the home page. I click on Edit with Elementor. So I open the homepage with Elementor, and what I want to do, I want to copy this upper area, the hero. So I click on right mouse click, copy, over here, right mouse click, paste. That's how easy it is to copy and paste things. Well, I don't want to use everything over here, so I hover over here, close this, I close this, I close this. If I want to do it quicker, I click over here, right mouse click, delete, right mouse click, delete. Okay, then I go to the hero, to the advanced area. I remember that I played around with the bottom. So I check this, so everything is linked together. And then I select one of the numbers and I say backspace. So now I have the original settings. I think the hero is quite high. I go to the layout and I change the height, minimum height to 300. No, that's way too big. I leave it empty. So I click on the plus and I want to add a heading. I drag it over here. I change the text to about because it's the about page. Then I go to the style. I change the text color to color 1. Then I go back to the hero, to layout, and I bring this to the center, justify the content, and the alignment should also be at the center. I think it's, it should be higher. So I can do two things. I can go to the hero, to the style, to the shape divider, bottom, and change the height, decrease it. I prefer not to do that. The second thing I can do, go to the layout and increase it. Let's say 200. Publish. Okay. How about 250? Publish. So there's still enough space to show other information. Okay. Since I want to do this for every page, I say right mouse click, save as a template, and I call this one the site or the page title. Save it. Awesome. So now I can insert it on every new page I create. Right now, I want to take it to the next level. I want to show you more about how you can adjust, or how do you say it, combine different features within Elementor so you get really cool layouts. We can work with margin and padding, but we can also use with a minus of margin and z-index. Man, there's so much more we can cover. So let me show you how you can create a little bit more advanced style design and then also optimize it for all devices. I want to edit the page with Elementor. I want to create a new container flexbox containing 2 containers. So I go for this one, left and right. Awesome. The first thing I do, I click on the first container, advanced, uncheck the padding. The second one, advanced, uncheck the padding. I click over here, I go to the structure and I call this one image and text. So the left one is called image and the right one is called text. So I click on the plus. For the left one, I go for an image, choose an image, and I will go for this one, select. Then I go to the style of the image. In the border radius, I give it 25. Then I go to the right area, I click on it, on the plus, and I go for a heading. Below that, I go for a text area. Okay. I click over here and I justify the content in the center and over here like that. So again, this one, I go to the style. I want to give it a background, the color white. Not a lot changes because the background is already white. So what I want to do for the whole container, this one, I want to go to the style, background type, classic, color. This time I want to go for color 5. So it's the orange one, but then a lot lighter, like that. Look at that, that's interesting. Then I click over here. And then over here at the border, I also want to give it 25 pixels. So I see the border. But with the divider, I see a different color. So I need to go to the area over here, the title area, style. Then I go to the shape divider, the bottom, and I change the color to color 5. So now it looks like this. Okay. I click over here on the container, advanced, and at the padding, I say, let's give it 20 pixels everywhere. Like that. And then at container layout, I change the gaps to 20. I change the title, about web, divine. I go to the style, I change the color to an orange one, color 1, and then I need to have a text. So I go to ChatGPT again, give me a text about the company called Web Divine. Let me fast forward. Okay, make it 3 times as short. Okay, I grab this, I paste it and I change it to Web Divine. That's the name of my company. Okay, something like this. So what I want to do, I want to drag this more to the left and this more to the right so you get a nice overlap. How can I do that? I click on this container, I go to advanced, close layout, and then I go to transform, offset, I click on it, and then I say -100. There you go. Over here, I do the opposite. I go to advanced, close layout, go to transform, offset, and I say plus 100. But now it's not aligning to the side anymore. So what I can do, I click over here on the container layout. It's a nice workaround. The width is 1120. So I add 200 pixels. The 200 pixels from this one, I went to the left, and the 100 pixels, I went to the right. So a total of 1320. And when I do that, I say Command P. You see it aligns again. So this is actually what I want. Keep in mind that when you make the text too big, it starts to look different. I prefer the text to be smaller than the image. And you can also play around with this. I go to the container layout. I can change this to 60. And then I can change this to 40. So the total is 100. So in that way you can make the image bigger or smaller. I say Command Z, Command Z. So there's enough room to play around with. Okay, I like it. But how does it look on a different device? I click over here. It looks like this. So what I can do, I can click over here, go to advanced, to transform, and play around with the settings. So if I would say minus 50, also here I should say, what do you think I'm gonna say? Advanced, I would say 50. So it's the opposite, if you want to. Or you click over here and you go to container and bring it below each other. And then you can also play around with the width. So I can say, let's see, over here. I can go back to transform. I say nothing. Over here, I say nothing, or bring this to the right a bit like this. Bring this to the left a bit. I can also make it wider because right now it's 50%. So over here I could say percentage. Make it 70. Okay, this is what I like. And now over here I could say transform and then play around with the eye offset. But look at this. When I do that, this stays over here. So that's weird. So what I prefer to do, go to layout and check this. And at the top, I start to decrease it. Because when I do that, this will go with me. So there are multiple ways to do things. I like this one. So there's not a lot I want to show over here. So I think minus 200 is perfect. Perfect and schlock. How does it look on a mobile? Like this. So again, layout of the container below each other. Okay. Then I click over here, or I go to the structure. So the container of the image, the width in percentage can be 100. For the text, the same. Layout, width in percentage, 100. Then I go to the image, advanced, transform, and I say 0. I go to the text, transform, 0. Then I go to layout, 0. And then I can increase it even a bit. Or now it's increasing everywhere. I uncheck this and I increase this to 20 pixels. Or you click over here and you say, bring this to the end. So over here, no need for 20 pixels at the top, but maybe 20 at the bottom. Push this down. So now on all devices, there's a nice overlay, or there's an overlay here, there's an overlay here, and then over here, it's nicely below each other. So that's how you can create something, what we just have created. I really like it, and I hope you do too. One more thing, I want to go to the home page. So I click over here, edit with Elementor. Then I want to go to this text. I go to the text tab and I grab the strong and the span. This one, I copy it. Then over here, I click here, I go to the tab and let me see. Visual stunning website. So I do that one. And over here, I close it. So close the strong and close the span. Then I search rankings, I paste it, span, closing strong. Okay, I go back to visuals, publish. Yes, really nice. Elementor is one of the most popular page builders in the world. 43% of the websites in the world is made with WordPress, and 1 in the 5 websites, so 20% of the websites in the world, is made with Elementor. So what other people do, what other companies do, they build extra features on top of the free version of Elementor. And we are the big winners here because we can make use of those features, those new plugins that are built on top of Elementor. There are free versions, there are pro versions. Let me show you how to add a plugin that's built on top of Elementor that's still free, that can give you some extra functionalities within your website. Here at the About page, I click on Edit with Elementor. I want to create a new area showcasing my theme. So I click on the plus, flexbox. Let's go from left to right. I want to go to the style, gradient, color 2, color 4. The degree will be 270. And then I start with a heading. I call this one the theme style, make the color orange. And then I go to the container. I call it the theme. I go to layout and bring it to the center. Okay. I also want to make it wrap like that. And then I click over here. I go to advanced. The width, I want to make it full width. So every item, let me bring it to the center. If that does not work, I also make it grow and I go to the style and bring it to the center here. Okay, I want to add a team member. So I search for a team and there's nothing. Well, if you use the pro version, there's a possibility, but I want to use the free version. So I click on preview changes. I go to the backend, to plugins, add new. And I search for Elementor. And I see the Elementor page builder, and then I see essential add-ons. 2 million installations. So 1 in the 5 people that use Elementor also use essential add-ons. We're going to make use of the free version. So I click on install now. Activate it. Awesome. I click on proceed to the next step. I go for the basic recommendations and I need to turn on team members. I can also scroll down. What else? Postgrid is something I want to use. So I'm okay. Next, next, skip, finish. Congratulations. Thank you. Now I go back to the website, to the About page. I added the About page with Elementor. Now I can scroll down, click on the plus, search for team, and there it is, EA, Essential Add-ons. It's in the game. I click on the, make sure when there's a plus, I release it. I bring it under there. And now I duplicate it a few times. And when I do so, they're all below each other. Why? Because by default, this stretches to 100%. So I go to advanced, width, change the width to custom, and then I say 30%. So now I get rid of this one. Another one. So if I duplicate this, it will be next to it. if I duplicate this, it will also be next to it. So that's what I want. If I duplicate it again, look at that. It's on the next line. So let's keep with this. So I click over here. I go to content and I want to add an image. So I click on upload files, select files. I have a few images. So I go to desktop, ferdy.com, resources, web design, theme. This will probably not be the images you will see. I bought those on iStock, so I cannot share those with you. So I grab the first one, Andy, and I'm gonna say something about Andy. So here at team member, there's the image, team member content. Well, this is Andy Bernard. What is his position? He is into sales. And I can go to ChatGPT. Write me a 30-word text about Andy Bernard from the office. Copy. I paste it over here. Then there are social profiles. I don't want to use those, so I turn those off. And then I can go to the style. There are multiple ways. I can also have an overlay, so I'm going to hover over it. Then you see the information. I prefer the simple style. And then let me show you. I want to have a content padding right now. It's not that much, so I say 25. So there's more space over here. That's what I prefer. I also want to have a border radius of 25. So you see those curved corners. And then I want to have a content background that is white, like that. Or color 5. Okay. So far, so good. Then I go to the color and typography. So the member name, I want it to be color 1. Job position, I want it to be color 2. And a little bit bigger and bolder. Okay. The description is fine with me. Okay, I go to this area. Let me see. I'm happy. So I can say copy and paste the style. But what I prefer to do, close this, close this, close this. And duplicate it. And again, and again, and again. I don't want to duplicate it another time, but I have 5 members, but I want them to be displayed all like this. So what I can do a trick. I add a new element, but this time a container. So I drag it over here. There it goes. I click on it. I change the width here at layout to 30%, but now it's not perfectly aligned yet. Almost. Or maybe it is. I think it is. So I click over here just to make things sure. I go to advanced and I make sure I make everything grow. Did I do that over here? Advanced. Grow. No, that's what I should have done. So copy, paste the styles, paste the styles, paste the styles, and paste the styles. Click over here, uncheck the padding like that. Okay, what I will do now, I'll fill in all the information of all the other team members and then I will be back with you. A few things we can learn. I don't like the order, so I can go to the structure. And let's see, Michael Scott, let's start with him. After him, of course, Dwight Schrute, assistant to the regional manager. Then Jim, where are you? Okay, then Andy. Then Kevin. How does it look on a different device? The team. Awesome. If I want to, this text is longer, I can say to Jim, advanced, and go to the order 5. And then over here, order 6. So this lines up better because Jim has a shorter text. Okay, this looks great. If I want to have 3 in a row. I could say, make it in percentage. 27, and then also here 27, etc. No, thank you. I think this is great. And then on the phone, no, I want them to be 100% in the width. So copy, paste the style, paste the style, paste the style, and paste the style. So it looks great on tablets. It looks great on big screens. And what I want to do, click over here, go to my templates and go for the call to action that I want to have on every page. But I also want to have a dark and a light container next to each other. So there's dark, light, light. Or what I can do, I can click on the container style. Then I go for the border. Uncheck this in the border top. I want it to be 3. Solid, not -23. 3. And the color orange. I don't see it right now because it's selected. Okay. That's how you can do that. It is a border everywhere now on all sizes. So let me see. Oh, it's the radius. Excuse me. I'll check this and then I say top 3. And everywhere else, nothing. That's how it goes with making websites. I still make mistakes. I already thought, did I create a line over here? No. Now I understand how it works. Or really fast, let's get rid of this. Click on the plus, go for one direction area with a quote. Would love to work with you. We are driven to help you to become successful. I can make this orange. I can bring it to the center. I can click over here, go to the style, classic image, go for this image. Then I say the position should be in the center of the center. The attachment can be fixed. The display size could be cover. Then I can go to the layout, change the minimum height to 400. Then I go to layout. I bring this to the center and to the center. And then at the style background overlay, I go for a gradient of color 2. Or just not a gradient, a single color. Let's keep it with this one. No. It's not light, but yeah, that's how you can play around with this. It's not lighter, but it's different. So that's how you can create the About page. From now on, I'm going to show you how to speed things up. We have created a lot already. So from this point on, I will show you how to work even more efficient by copying things, pasting things, adjusting things. So let me show you how you can do that. I want to go to the services page. I hold Command or Control on the PC and I click on it. So I open it in a new tab. This page is not made with Elementor yet. So I click on Edit Page. And then over here, I can say Edit with Elementor. So let me show you how you can speed things up. Don't we all like that, to speed things up, to do more in a certain amount of time? So what I will do, I will edit the homepage with Elementor. So I have Elementor opened in 2 tabs. And I scroll down and I want to go for this area. Right mouse click, copy it. Now I want to go to the service page and I want to make use of the title template. So I click over here. I go to my templates. I have 2 and I want to go for the page title. So I click on insert, apply. I triple click over here, over here. I can also say services. But this time I want to add something. So I say right mouse click, paste. And now those 2 are next to each other. I don't want that. So I click on the container and at the layout, I say, let's be vertical. I want to change the row to 20, 20, 20. Okay, and I want to add a text, a small text about our company. So I go to the text editor, I drag it here below. I go to the style, text color. I want to change it to white. And I want to go to advanced because I want to make this smaller. So I go to the width, to the custom width in percentage. I change it to pixels and I say 521. Why? I have no idea. So let's make it 500. Then I want to bring it to the center. And if nothing happens, you can go to the style and bring it to the center over here. Then I go to my friend called Chat, surname, last name, ChatGPT. And I say, make this text better. And I write something about 4 services in one, why that is so amazing. So let me fast forward. Enter. Here's an improved version. Awesome. I grab this text, copy it, and then at content, I paste it. And over here, I can scroll up, go for one of those cool orange bold words. So I go to strong, copy it. Let me see. We handle it all for you. So I go to the text tab. We handle it all for you. So I paste it. Then I copy the span and the strong. All for you. Like that. Why is nothing happening? I'm missing something over here. It seems that I'm missing something else. Yes, I'm missing the arrow. There you go. We handle it all for you. So that's okay. Now I want to go back to the home page. I want to make use of this area, but now I selected this particular container. So in order to select the whole container containing the 4 containers, I go to the structure and I scroll down and I go for the 4 steps, right mouse click, copy. Then I go to services. Over here, right mouse click, paste. Okay, I want to change the look of view. Let me show you how to do that. First, I go to the advanced area and I uncheck the padding, or I check it or make it link to each other, and then I remove this. So by default, we have 60 pixels over here and there. I want to get rid of all the icons. And then I want to bring everything to the left. So I can click over here, align it at the start and align items at the left. Then I click over here. I go to style, to the left, right mouse click, copy, paste the style, and paste the style. Here at the first one, there's not a lot of padding, so I go to advanced. And let me again get rid of this. No. Let's do 25. Okay. And over here, advanced, get rid of this. Now, right mouse click, copy, paste the style, and paste the style. And then for the container, right mouse click, copy, paste the style, and paste the style. I can give this a cool background, but I'm okay with this. Now I want to create a new area with an image and some text. So what I will do, I will go for the plus, flexbox, and then 2 areas. Over here, I uncheck the padding. Over here, I give the padding 25 everywhere. So over here, I go for a background image. Style, classic, image, and I go for one of the images. Let's see, this one. Okay, it's okay that you don't see everything yet. I go to the position, center, attachment, it's okay, display size, cover. Now I go to the right area and I want to copy this, paste it, copy this, paste it below, and then go to the style, change the color to color 2. Okay. Then I want to have a text, copy, paste, and then go to the style, change it to the dark color, align it to the left. Then I want to copy this area, copy, right mouse click, paste. And as you see, the longer the text is, the better this image will be visible. I go to the style, because here we have a dark background, so everything is white. So I need to change the colors everywhere. So I go to the text and I change it to the lighter one. Go to the typography, make it bold, bolder. Yes. And then I can go to the home page, to the second area, copy, right mouse click, paste. I go to this container and I change at the layout the gaps to 20. Over here at the container, I go to the style, to the border, I say 25. And then over here, I want to change the gaps to 40. So there's a bit of space in between. Okay. So actually, I can also get rid of the padding over here, because it's automatically having some space over here. You know what? Let's see. What is wisdom? Let's keep with that. Command P. This is over the whole width. So let's fix that. Click over here, layout, boxed. Okay, what I don't like. Let me see what happens here. I don't know. Let me copy this text, paste it here. Better. So it's aligning better. Let me see. I already played around with the gaps. I think it can be even less. Let's do 10. Okay. Branding. If you want to know more about branding, over here, branding. And over here, I can say branding. So when you click on it, you go to the branding page, this one. Okay. So I click over here. I want to go to the style. Give this a orange color 5-ish look. Okay. And then at the top, at the border, I want to have a solid color. So I uncheck this, and at the top bar, I want to have 3 or 3, not 32, but 3. Make this orange. Okay. What I want to do now, I want to duplicate this. Oh, by the way, one more thing. If you want to, at layout, I can say make this 40% and then make this at advanced. Oh no, this is also a container. Make this 60%. I think that is better. And you know what? I like 20. And if I want to, I can click over here, go to advanced, bring this to minus like that. Okay, publish. Before I duplicate it, I'm gonna duplicate it. Let's take a look how it looks on a different device. Okay, so what I will do, there's a lot of space over here. So maybe it's better to okay, over here it's 40. Then over here on a tablet, it is 20. Oh, just because of that. Okay, so it can stay 40. Then over here, it's 45 everywhere, probably. So let's say 10. And then on a smartphone, I bring this down at advanced. Okay. So it's optimized. I want to duplicate it a few times because I have 4 things I want to display. 2, 3, 4. So what I can do, I can click over here. And now I can use at layout the different direction, the reverse direction, like that. I go to the style. I change this color 5 to color 6. Okay, and now I say over here, color or number 2, web design will be web design. I can copy this. I can paste it, and then I can copy the style, paste the style, and then remove this. Over here, I can go for web design, and then here I can change the image to another one. Okay, then we have this one, number 3, that is SEO. I copy this, I paste it, copy the style, paste the style, get rid of this. Branding becomes SEO. And then the 4th one will be reversed again. I change the background to color 6. I call this one number 4. Advertising. Copy. Paste. Copy the style. Paste the style. Get rid of this one. Web design. Oh, wait. This is not good. Command Z. I need to go to this one. So let me copy this again. Go to the latest one, number 4. And then say 4. Advertising. Click on the logo or the button. Advertising. Paste it. Copy the style. Paste the style. And over here I have to change the image to this one. And then over here, style, this one. Okay, and then here I go for the CTA below the page. So this is our page, branding, web design, SEO, and advertising. Awesome. Publish. Okay. We've already saved our containers. You can also save a complete page and then use it again and adjust the information. Let me show you how to do that. What I can do now, I can save a whole page as a template. I click over here, save as a template, and I call this template services page. Save it. There you go. Awesome. Tablet. Phone. And over here I can say uncheck this. Over here I can say advanced, uncheck this. Publish. So with copying and pasting, we saved ourselves quite some time. Now I want to show you another way on how to save time. By the way, of course, I should change those texts over here. About branding, about web design, about SEO, about advertising. So we save this page. I open this in a new tab. Close this. Publish. Close this. Let's publish it. So now if I go to the branding page, edit the page, edit with Elementor, I can click on the folder icon, go to my templates, and I have a whole page. This is a container, this is a page. So the service page, I click on insert, apply. So over here I can say branding, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. And then I can go to the hero, style, shape divider, bottom. I change it to color 5. Then at the first container, I could say at style, border, get rid of the border. And then over here, I can say brand scan. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. 2. What was the second one? Let's see. Services. Branding strategy. The third one, logo and colors. So I can get rid of this one. I can get rid of this. I can change the images. I can change the text. And then there's the call to action again. Publish. It's optimized for all devices. I could do the same with web design, SEO, and advertising. Import the page, adjust the content, remove content you don't need. And that way we created a few pages in a short amount of time using the copying and pasting options within Elementor. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to create the contact page and make use of a free contact form builder. So let me show you how. Let's go to the contact page by clicking here. I click on edit page, you know the drill. Edit with Elementor. And I want to go for a title, so I click over here. My templates, page title, insert, apply, triple click, then I say contact. I want to create a contact area. So I click over here. I want to go for a flexbox with 2 areas. Here at the left, I want to have a contact form, and here at the right, I want to have some information about my company. First, I go to the background. I go to style, classic color. I want to go for a bluish color, color 6. The same I want to do over here at the shape divider. So I go to the style, shape divider, bottom, change the color to color 6. Okay, this color, the second one, the container background, I want to go to the style, classic color, and I choose color 2. And then over here, I'm positive that I want to use the style color background number 8, like that. Okay, here at the left, let me publish it. I want to make use of a contact form. So let me show you how to get it. It's a free plugin. So I go to the backend, to plugins, add new plugin, and I search for contact form 7. If you can't find it, you can search over here. Contact form 7, more than 10 million installations, updated last week. I really like it. And also activate it. Okay, now I go to contact, and there's a form already. So let me double click or triple click, copy this short code. Then I go to the website, to the contact page, or actually we can just paste over here. Let me refresh it because we installed a new plugin. And then I go for the text editor. And here at the text tab, I paste it. Okay, let's publish it. Let's see how that looks. There it is. Okay, there's a contact form. We'll talk about the content later. Right now, that's okay. Except for one thing. I click over here, go to advanced, and I change this to 25. And I want to add a heading on top saying contact. Okay. I want to add another heading here at the right with another color, the color orange, color 1. And over here I say my company name, Web Divine LLC. Then I want to add a text area here below. I click on the container, advanced. I do the same, padding 25 everywhere. Here I make the text white, style, text color 8. Then I go to content. I want to add my address. So I say Jan Lyken Street, number 36, shift enter, 3141 BN in Maasluis, and then in the Netherlands. Then I want to duplicate this. There you go. Some information about my company, more information, the bank and stuff. So LLC, my LLC number, shift enter, my VAT ID, shift enter, my IBAN bank account, okay. Now I want to go to the homepage, edit with Elementor. I go over here to the header and I copy this. Then over here, I select this area, Command or Control B, select this, Control, Command B, and over here. Now I go to the text area, and after the strong area, I paste it. Then over here, after the strong area, I paste it. And then here, after the strong area, I paste it. And before the strong closing, I say arrow left, / span, closing. The same I do over here and over here. There you go. Looks great if you ask me. And then I go for an icon list. I drag it in between. Okay, I change the style of the text to white. Are you having fun? I hope so. If you appreciate this tutorial, then please like it. Meanwhile, at the icon, I make it orange. I go to the content and I grab or remove the first, the second, the last two. I click over here. I change the text to info@wearewebdivine.com. And I change the icon to a mail account or an envelope. Envelope. Okay. Then I duplicate it. The second one will be HTTPS wearewebdivine.com. And I change this to something like an address. Let me see this one. And then the third one will be changed to a phone. How about a smartphone? Am I missing something? You know what? Let's do an old-fashioned phone. And then I change the text to the number +316. Phone number. Okay. Then I go over here and I change the layout gaps to 20. I have to admit I should have done 20 in the whole tutorial, in the whole website, because every time I'm changing it. So in some cases it looks better 40, but I think 20 would have been better. Okay, that's this area and this area. Let's do the same. 20. I can still change it over here at not at the user preferences, but at the layout. So it will be changed everywhere by default, where I did not adjust it to something else. So Let's see how our website will change. Okay. When you want to learn more about this contact form, you can go to YouTube and search for contact form 7 tutorial. It's already 5 years old. It's still doing a great job. And there, it's an in-depth tutorial on how to create an amazing form. Over here, what I do want to show you, right mouse click, a few CSS tricks, right mouse click, inspect. I want to change this color. So what I see over here, I can grab this whole area. Copy it. Then I go to the customizer. I go to CSS, close this. I paste the CSS code, and it's a lot of blah, blah, blah. What I want to do, I want to search for the border radius and the border color. Everything else from this area on. Let's see. Can be gone. And after the radius, so border color. I can change, get rid of this and just come up with a color like that. It's darker. I like that. I can also say 333 or 666, 777. Make it less black. Border radius. I can say 25 pixels. Get rid of this. See that? Okay, I like it. Now this looks a little bit weird. So what I also can do is padding left, let's see, minus 10 pixels. No, maybe margin. Yes. So it starts a little bit earlier. So when it is, the edges are gone, then it starts. So I can also say minus 12. Or bring this to the right. Well, I'm okay with this. Or not, I don't know. So I can also go to this one, right mouse click, inspect, label, copy this area. I'm not a CSS guru, not at all, but sometimes I know a few things. Margin, left, 10 pixels. Okay, it takes everything with it. Okay, that's okay, because then everything goes to the right. And then over here, I do the same. And I say minus 10. So now this is still great. And this is a little bit to the right. That's how it can go. But this is looking weird. So I have to do the same over here. Inspect. Text area. Okay, this one. Copy. And then I grab this. Awesome. That's the way the cookie crumbles. When I click on it, it highlights to my favorite color. And then one more thing, the button to keep the style of the website. Submit button, it floats left, that's fine. What I want is a border radius of 25 pixels. Oh my, I like it. I like making websites, especially when things are working out. Makes me think that I'm smart, you know? Then we all want to feel that. So one more thing, since we're talking about borders, I want to have borders over here. So I go to this container, to the style, to the border. I can say 25 everywhere, but then it will also be here. So I uncheck it and I go for the inner two. No, now this one is bordered. So I should have the exact opposite ones. 25, 0, 0, 25. So now the edges are there. For this one, the other way around, style, border, uncheck the outer ones. Sorry, I'm distracted. 25, 25, like this. So now when we take a look, we have nice edges over here. I really like it, how this looks. How does it look on a different device? Well, we're getting trouble. Not here. This looks great. But if I go to a mobile, I see that the edges are not, the radius is not correct. So this time I say 25 everywhere except for the latest two. Wait a minute. No. Let's see. 0, 0. Oh, I'm still at this one. Okay, so I go for the right two, 25 and 25. Okay, so the right ones are for downstairs. Downstairs, okay. And this one, let's say for upstairs. So now here's a radius, here's a radius. Here it's sticking, here's a radius. Awesome. Okay. And then what some people do, which is really cool if you still lived in 2012, is have a new area with a map, Google Maps. Well, if you want to do that, be my guest. It's up to you. So this is optimized for all devices, and that is the way the cookie crumbles. If you want to, you can create a portfolio on your website. Not everybody wants this. What I've done, I've created a separate tutorial for that, and I will show you where you can find that tutorial. Let's go to ferdy.com, hit enter. I click on the search icon and I search for how to create a WordPress website. Hit enter. There you go. WordPress tutorial for beginners. It says 2024, but the new tutorial, which I'm making right now, will be placed over here. And then I scroll down and here you can learn how to create a portfolio. I have a tutorial for that. I will also create a new one. So this one is also the older version. So here you can learn in 23 minutes how to create a portfolio for your website. And it will look like this. Our work. I have a filter over here. I can have a category 1, category 2. So for instance, business photography, wedding photography, certain websites, web shops. And then you can click on it. Then you can showcase that project. I want to thank you for watching this tutorial. If you made it until this point, I want to congratulate you. I hope you follow through. You've put everything to practice. Then you have an amazing website. Good luck with your business. Good luck with everything you do. God bless you. He loves you. And I wish you the best in everything you do. Ciao.